making healthcare accessible, equitable, and affordable. Connecticut hospitals create real change by caring for Connecticut.
Here we go.
More at caringforct.org.
Hey, shh. Calm down. The show is about to start. Reese on the radio. Turn it up. Turn it up loud. Turn it up loud.
It's like a dream come true.
Turn on your radio. Reese on the radio.
Yo, let's get it.
Due to the nature of this program, discretion does not exist. It's Reese on the radio. Right now on WTIC News Talk 1080.
And a happy Monday to every one of you, you tortured souls. I know you're back to work on Monday. I know you were enjoying the weekend. I know you were getting your shopping done, your errands done. Maybe you cleaned the gutters. Maybe you took the family to the mall and you were just maxing and relaxing. And Monday came around, not like you didn't know it was coming, and it ruined the whole thing. But that's okay, folks. That's the reason why Reese on the Radio is here for you. To get you through the end of your day so you can get home, you can watch TV, maybe have some dinner, little steak tartare, little filet mignon, whatever it is you might be having today. And that's fine. We got plenty of stuff to get into today. I've got to talk about my best friend and homie B Money Slice Grip, Chris Murphy. You may have heard the story. I'm very, very intrigued about this story. We'll talk about that. We've also got to talk about Jen Tooker. This weekend, she did an interview with Dennis House over at WTNH called This Week in Connecticut. That's his program. We'll talk a little bit about that. We'll get your take on that as well if you watched it. If not, we've got an interesting clip, a couple of clips that I want to play from that interview. So we'll get into that as well. And your phone calls, 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Scallywags, if you wish to join us by going to ReeseOnTheRadio.com, friending us on Facebook, on Twitter, or X, Twitch, YouTube. We're now on Daily Motion as well. It's another site. You can go there. If you have a Daily Motion account, you can go there and watch the show live. Rumble as well. You can find that on the homepage of ReeseOnTheRadio.com. So last week, I said that I was going to talk about this, and I'm hoping that I don't alienate anyone in talking about I don't want to call it a situation. It was just something that kind of ticked me off. And I'll be honest with you, the only reason why I did is because I take some things personal, and that's my own fault. I need people to understand the things that I take personally are my fault, not the people who do whatever it is that they do. I've got to check myself at the door when I get miffed about something. And I'm very self-reflective. I think that has everything to do with my sobriety. It gives me an opportunity where there's a problem or a situation. And in fact, I don't have problems. I have situations. When I have a situation, the first thing I learned to do as I got older was to look at myself. Where am I having a problem? Is it fear? And what am I angry about? Everything that I have an issue with is always about fear. I've learned that. If you get angry at someone, you immediately have to look at what about it makes you fearful. Because no one likes to be afraid, and your natural response to fear is anger. So something happened over the weekend. It had to do with Friday's show. I didn't mean to be ticked off about it, but it did. It annoyed me. And my ex-wife said to me a long time ago, Reese, you have to stop expecting yourself in others. You have to accept that they are not like you. Acceptance is the answer. They are going to be who they are. I accept that. And I'm learning to do that a lot better than I used to. But I'm not perfect. No one is. But I try to reach that level. So On Friday's show, I had an innocuous conversation with somebody on the show, and apparently there were some people who took issue with that. And I know exactly why I got angry. And the reason why I got angry was because the response to that innocuous interview was, oh, I'm just not going to listen to that guy anymore. And my response to that was, well, that's messed up. I thought I had earned some currency. I thought that what I stood for or what this show represents was clearly, had earned its place in the hearts and minds of those who listened to it or enjoyed the show. But then I got to thinking, and I went, if an innocuous conversation like that made people bounce and say, I can't listen to the show anymore, you know what I had to realize? You were never really down. You were never really down. And I'm using that vernacular, that sort of hip-hop vernacular, for a reason. I'm a very loyal individual, especially to my friends. If I say you're my boy, if I give you my personal telephone number, you're my boy, you're my confidant, I'm rarely, and you know this from the show, those of you who listen avidly, religiously, know. One of my biggest problems with my friendships, as it were, is because I'm very reluctant to have them. Why? Because I'm always expecting them to be like me. So when I extend my loyalty, I expect them to be loyal. But I shouldn't do that. I should hedge a little bit. And when someone immediately starts wavering on whether or not they're friends, especially when I start seeing it as petty or meaningless and stuff like that, I say to myself, okay, maybe they were never really down. Maybe that was just window dressing. Maybe it was, yeah, I'm down until. I'm down. But okay, that's another thing. I've got friendships that are like that. And sure enough, hey, sayonara, holler. I've got a sister who I'm, was very cool with, closest member of my family. She went left on me. We don't talk anymore. Cool. We just don't talk anymore. Sucks. But what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to harangue myself over and over again about the disagreement? No, it is what it is. You move on. Not that it isn't meaningful. Sure, it's hurtful. It sucks. But I have no control, especially if you made the choice. If you make the choice that I did something to you, what am I to do? Especially if you're not going to come to me and explain to me what it is I did and we can't hash it out. What am I going to do? I got nothing. I'm helpless here. So I move on. But like I said, if an innocuous conversation is the one, if that was the turning of the tide, you were never really down in the first place. So I was obsessing about somebody who wasn't really down with me in the beginning. So if you're down with me, you're down with me. I was thinking about this over the weekend, and I was telling my wife about this. I was telling her the story about Rush Limbaugh that I remember vividly. I remember it so vividly. When I tell this story, I can tell it like it happened yesterday. I can tell it like I was in Rush Limbaugh's studio. The date was February 29th, 2012. He was just coming out of a break. Peter Gabriel's Sledgehammer was playing as the bumper rotation. And he came in, and at the time, he was talking about Sandra Fluck. She was a woman who had testified at a congressional hearing talking about how the government should pay for her contraception. And Rush Limbaugh went on to say about her something I could consider, many would consider inflammatory, an inflammatory use of language. He described her as. Starts with the letter S, ends with the letter T. In fact, it was so inflammatory that the president of the United States at the time, Barack Hussein Obama, mentioned it in a speech, in a press conference he was giving, and was attacking in my view, my hero, Rush Limbaugh. It had reached the annals of Washington. It was a huge story. Immediately, Rush Limbaugh was bombarded with phone calls and people jumping ship as far as advertisers were concerned. I couldn't believe it. Neither could he. People were jumping ship so fast. Rush Limbaugh did the one thing in his career that I disagreed with, and I felt shame that he had done it. He apologized. He should have never done that. He had no reason to. What he gave was his honest opinion and giving commentary and doing what it is that we do on this microphone, and that is talk about the things in a real way. What he said may have been inflammatory, but he had the right to say it, and that was the way that he looked at it. And if people wanted to bounce, bounce. That happened back in 2012. We know what the end results were. Rush Limbaugh is still considered one of the greatest broadcasters to ever touch a microphone, ever. And that one little footnote in history means nothing to his legacy. But he took it hard. President of the United States come after you like that, uses that as a cudgel to destroy you. I can understand why he buckled. I would not have. And I refuse to. Rush Limbaugh came back about a week later, and he got on a microphone, and he said something that to this day I still think is the proudest moment of him. Again, I was always down. I was disappointed at his apology, but I was always down. He came back and he talked about his sponsors who had left him. One was a cybersecurity company that had left him, ended up going bankrupt years later after leaving him. I mean, this guy put Snapple on the map, and you left Rush Limbaugh. Didn't make any sense to me. But Rush Limbaugh came back on and he talked about the people who had left him, and he said this. He goes, those companies didn't choose to not do business with me. They chose to not do business with you. And right then and there, I understood exactly why I was a strong follower and supporter of Rush Limbaugh. Is that I am here for you, and you are here for me. I have an obligation to, one, keep this show real, to do what it is that I do, and do it without favor or fear. I know that there were some people who had a personal animus with that conversation. I totally understand that. But I know who I am, and I know what I stand for, and that will never, ever reflect who I am, and I shouldn't make it about me. It isn't. I love what I do. I love this program. I love you for listening to it. You guys send me messages all the time, and they always warm my heart. Sometimes they make me uncomfortable about how much you guys love the show, because all I want to do is serve you, and I don't want the praise. I'm uncomfortable with it. But when people say that they're disappointed about something that I did, when I know for a fact that what I did was have an innocuous conversation about Ayn Rand and a political party, that all of a sudden I no longer curry favor with you, I can only see it as you were never down in the first place. It means that everything that I'd done on this show, every part of the fabric of my being for the last 2 going on 3 years here at WTIC was something for you waiting, or obviously you were waiting for me to do something for you to leave. Well, I appreciate your tenure. I appreciate the time that you spent here. With any luck, you'll come back. Maybe you'll miss me. I know I'll miss you, even though I hardly even know who you are. But I want you to know that you listening to this program is important to me. I don't dismiss you. I'm simply saddened that we can't continue to have the relationship that I believe has been flourishing for close to 3 years. But I'm going to continue to be me. Back in 2004, when I first got into Connecticut, a former president of the United States went after me and what I said on the air. He went to the program director and told the program director to shut me up or fire me. That was the first time I was ever censored on this microphone. The second time I was threatened on this microphone by that same former president's wife for doing a documentary or talking to the people who were the members or the makers and the subject of a documentary about Stan Lee and a guy named Peter Paul. You can probably find it. I have my life and my well-being threatened by that person. So forgive me when I say that my free speech I take personally. I really take it personally. And that was the moment that I realized what I was mad about, what I was angry about. Because if there's anything that bakes me to the core, is when someone tells me to shut up. Whatever it is, when anyone ever tells me what I can't do, what I can't say, who I can't speak to, that, for some odd reason, has always baked me. And that's what I took personal. But I had to get over that. No one told me to shut up. No one told me not that I couldn't speak or I couldn't talk to anyone. Nobody said that. They just took issue. And I need to put that in perspective, which I do. If I haven't said it enough, I love what I do. I love it more than anything in the world, with the exception of my wife, who I'm crazy about. In fact, I'll go so far as to say my wife and radio's close second. Sometimes she argues with me, radio takes precedent. Sometimes. But I just want you to know that when I come here and to crack this mic, that's a term we used back in the hip-hop days. When I come here to crack this mic, I come here to serve you. And in some ways, if I anger you, if I upset you, that's the reason the telephone number's here. 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. That's what that telephone number is for. You pick up that phone and you say something to me about it, and we hash it out. I know we're not friends, I know we're not buddies, and I know we're not pals. Well, some of them out there are. But I respect you. I'm hoping that's reciprocal. That's all. So, enough with the lecture. I have got plenty of stuff to get into, and I've got to talk about it. So just so you know, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into it today. I'm sure you heard the news. Someone has taken on a lover. Oh, someone has found a lover. And I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of him. I don't know what to make of it. And he went and got a younger model. I don't know. I don't know how old his wife is, because he still has a wife. We must be clear on that. He still has a wife. But according to reports, there was some canoodling going on over the weekend. And the New York Post has gotten a picture of that, so we'll talk about that as well. Don't forget, we'll also talk about Jen Tooker, who did an interview with Dennis House at WTNH. That conversation was interesting because I wanted to give her a chance. And I'm hoping, Jen, if you're listening, I hope that you'll come on the show, because I want to talk to you about some of these questions that you answered with regards to Donald Trump. We'll play them here. And I'll even give you a preview of what my questions are going to be. So I hope that somebody in your camp is listening. I know you just started your campaigning last week. So I'm hoping that your folks are scouring the airwaves to find out if people are talking about you. They should be here. Oh, and I forgot something. Do you know that yours truly was quoted in the Hartford Courant, but not quoted in the Hartford Courant? Did you know that? I got quoted in the Hartford Courant without being quoted in the Hartford Courant. If you don't know, you are going to find out. And it is the most amazing thing I've heard. And I don't know why you wouldn't quote me on this quote, because it's a brilliant quote. But to not give me credit for it, what I think is I'm starting to think that the person who wrote the article forgot who said it. But when you hear it, you'll know that yours truly said it. So stick around for that. We've got that. What else do we have? Oh, stupidest thing I've read today. The former First Lady is a part of that. We'll talk about that a little bit. We also have our giveaways. The last but not least, caller of the day is going to win bagels by between rounds. And we've got the Disney Destiny Tour, cruise that you can win. We'll talk about that as well. Michael B., that's not true about Don Lemon. That is not true. Do not say that. And what else do we have today? I think that's roughly about it. So we'll cover that. And, of course, your phone calls. 860-522-WTIC. That's 860-522-9842. Also got meteorologist Jason Caterina with weather. Mark Christopher is in the BPS Traffic Center. We'll get to him later as well. So, we got a whole bunch of stuff to get to. So stick around for that. And, of course, if you got your phone calls, they'll be coming up in the next half hour. All right, Reese on the radio. We'll take a break. It's News Talk 1080 WTIC.
If your air conditioner and furnace are over 10 years old, they've pretty much gone to the dogs. But at Ayala Home Services, we can fetch you a free furnace with our 2-for deal. For a limited time, when you purchase a new air conditioning system, you receive a free furnace. We also offer free, no-obligation estimates for these new systems. Call, click, or text and say hello, ALO. Call for details. Licensed for safety. P1027768A, D1040145, E1185643, S330869, HIC 628926, SM30044646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest.
Michael B., I do know that.
Feel like there aren't enough hours in the day? If you get busy or miss your favorite show, don't worry. With Rewind, available exclusively on the free Odyssey app, you can stream your favorite shows on demand. You know your day is better with us. Get the news that matters to you from the local voices you trust. No matter what you're up to, give it a try. To get started, download the free Odyssey app and search for your station. That's AUDACY.
Men, this is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, and you've heard me talk a lot about how treating low testosterone can improve your sleep, your workouts, your energy levels, and more. But today I want to talk about your sex drive, because low testosterone can have a significant impact on your desire for intimacy. It can even be a factor in erectile dysfunction, and if you're in a relationship or wanting to be in a relationship, a low sex drive could really be a problem. The good news is that if you're like most guys, treating a low T could really change the way you feel about sex, giving you back that flame and desire that is so important when you love someone. So if you're feeling sluggish and tired, if you're not sleeping well, if your workouts aren't that great, and most of all, if your sex drive is more like a putt, make an appointment at Northeast Men's Health and have your testosterone levels checked. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices in the Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Happy birthday to us. 2 surprises for you. 2 surprises from NordVPN. 2 surprises for you. Celebrate twice as much with NordVPN. We have a special birthday deal. Get 72% off and a coupon for up to 1 year free. NordVPN is rated as excellent on PC Mag. Visit NordVPN.com and discover one of the most advanced VPNs in the world. What are the benefits? Secure up to 10 devices with a single account. Receive alerts if your email address leaks to the dark web. Reduce the risk of phishing, scams, and malware with NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro tool. Encrypt your online traffic and browse with more peace of mind. Get the special birthday deal at NordVPN.com. Additional terms apply. NordVPN. Cybersecurity built for every day.
And now, a WTIC news update.
63 degrees at 3:30. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. Tonight, low in the mid-30s, high in the mid-60s, and windy tomorrow. The Dow is down about 1,000 points. Details in just a moment. First, West Hartford police say a paraprofessional is accused of inappropriately touching 2 juvenile students in January and sending sexually related texts to another. 24-year-old Dean Jones of Hartford is charged with 2 counts of 4th-degree sexual assault and 1 count of enticing a minor by computer. Jones posted a $125,000 bail and is due in court later this month. He was working in the STRIVE program. West Hartford Public Schools describe STRIVE as being for middle and high school students with significant behavioral and emotional disabilities. After the worst week for stocks in September, Wall Street is way down again today. The Dow is now down 886 points, or 2%. S&P dropping 157. NASDAQ is off almost 4% at minus 723. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
There's been a cloud of uncertainty hanging over the stock market and the economy for some weeks now. The combination of on-again, off-again tariffs, as well as government job cuts and businesses and consumers pulling back on spending, has caused recessionary fears to resurface.
And China is now imposing tariffs on many U.S. farm products in response to the Trump tariffs. This could hurt demand for American pork, among other things. Glenn Mueller is with the South Dakota Pork Producers Council.
We need to maintain an open trading market to move the product that we have here and that we can produce the safest, best product in the world.
As Ukraine gets pounded by Russian airstrikes, there will be talks tomorrow in Saudi Arabia. President Volodymyr Zelensky is there. Former U.S. Ambassador Steven Sestanovic says Ukraine will be seeking a security guarantee.
President Zelensky has said he understands NATO membership is not for now, not for the foreseeable future, but he wants to know what other kinds of security guarantees the United States would offer so that Ukraine does not have to worry about a resumption of attacks.
Two senior Ukrainian officials now say their delegation will propose a ceasefire with Russia covering the Black Sea and long-range missile strikes. Let's check the WTIC forecast.
A beautiful start to the week on our Monday afternoon with mostly sunny skies, pleasant and mild with the high of 59. Tonight under clear skies, going to be chilly, the low down to 33. We got a pretty decent stretch of weather coming up through much of the week. Milder on Tuesday, partly sunny, the high up to 65. Now Wednesday, just a bit cooler in the wake of a frontal passage, but still mild with the high of 51 and a mix of clouds and sun. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina in the WTIC Weather Center.
63 degrees now. Sports, UConn plays Creighton for the Big East Women's Championship tonight at Mohegan Sun. And updating the Dow, it's down 848 points. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Mager. WTIC 1080 News.
Join us this Sunday for Tumulo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father and son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch the replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumulo Financial Retirement Planning with Integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
Or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Every warm bread, every burger has a bun, but these warm, golden, smooth steam buns, these are special, reserved for the very best. The Filet-O-Fish. And you can have them too.
And you can have it all at 2 for $6, like a Filet-O-Fish, Big Mac, 10-piece McNuggets, or large fries. Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer. Single item at regular price.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
There's a lot on the line in a divorce. Your home, savings, retirement, maybe even kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce and the unexpected directions it can take, you really need a partner you can count on. I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. We're committed to helping protect your personal interests and the life you've built. Divorce take more than a
Yes,
past.
sir.
Talk to us today.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Hartford area attorneys. Phyllis McCutcheon, licensed in Connecticut. Online at CordellCordell.com.
Reese on the radio, making sense of the news. Yeah, even when it makes no sense at all. Now on WTIC, News Talk 1080.
It looks like someone took on a new lover. Oh, congratulations, buddy. If you're at ReeseOnTheRadio.com, that's ReeseOnTheRadio.com, you can see a picture of Tara McGowan, 39 years old, 12 years Chris Murphy's junior. She apparently is the new light of his life. Now, I have to say, folks, before I get to the phone calls, 860-522-WTIC, before I get to that, I have to say this. And you guys have got to tell me if I'm wrong here. I knew something was up a long time ago. And I said it. This guy's everywhere. He just won't shut up. He's flooding the zone. He's on every weekend show, except the ones where, he's being challenged. But he's everywhere, digitally, in the press, on the weekend shows. And now he's doing these really tough guy videos, these sort of like one shots where he's in the living room or in the hallway in his house, and he's cursing an awful lot. He's dropping the F-bomb and the S-bomb, trying to butch up. And it turns out there's a reason for all of that. And that's because of this filly right here. Oh, man. Look at them going over the wine list. What do you think, the Chardonnay? Oh, maybe the Pinot Noir. No, I'm a Chablis girl. I hope she's not a white Zin. I hope she's not. I've got a problem with white Zinfandel. I don't drink anymore, but when I was a wine drinker, anytime I went out with a girl, I was like, hey, let's have some wine. The girl would order white Zin. I'd leave her there. I pay the bill. I was like, check, please. We're out. Just no white Zin. Just no white Zinfandel. Just can't do it. I've got a saying about it, but I might get in Rush Limbaugh type issues if I say it. I said it once 20 years ago, and trust me, when women came up to me and I'll say it. I'll just say it. So 20 years ago, when I first got here, Roland, somebody was talking about, the host of the show was talking about, saying, oh, Reese, you're a big wine guy. And I'm like, yeah, I used to drink Merlot back in my, novice years. Then I found Pinot Noir, and I loved Pinot. And that was it. That was my wine of choice. And I loved it. And so he said, what, is there like a wine that's bad? Like, how do you know it's a wine that's bad? And I was like, well, I couldn't tell you. There are some people, I'm not really a fan of the white wines. And one of the wines that a lot of girls, who don't know wine will always order a white Zinfandel. And he goes, yeah. He's like, I know a lot of women who always order a white Zinfandel. And I went, yeah. I said, there are only two types of women who drink white Zin. And he said, which ones? And I went, old women and prostitutes. And the hell if I didn't get backlash from every woman. I mean, first of all, any woman who drank it was like, I'm not old and I'm not a prostitute. But it's just something I said off the fly to be funny. And every woman I ever met who came up to me after I said it turned it into an issue and said, I drink white Zinfandel. I'm like, I really stuck my foot in it that time. I don't really believe that. I just said it to be funny because I didn't really have a joke at the time, and I said it and I got into trouble. Anyway, back to this young lady. Her name is Tara McGowan. She's 39 years old. They were spotted at the bar called the Red Hen. I've seen this bar before. It's a usual place for a lot of people. If you want to be seen, that's where you'll go. And it's, how can I say this? First of all, the woman is in media, and she has been known to be a promoter of liberal ideals. Is this a relationship of convenience? I don't know. It sounds very convenient if you ask me. They start dating if they've been dating within the last year. I know she just recently divorced in 2023. And I know Chris Murphy has announced that he broke up with or separated from his wife in November of last year. How long has this been going on? Is this the reason why they got separated? Who knows? Inquiring minds want to know, Chris. But again, we've noticed that Chris Murphy's been everywhere. Everywhere you look. Here, there, and everywhere. Lori asked, does she live in Connecticut? No, I think she's when I say the city, I apologize. I mean D.C. I think she's in D.C. So I don't know, but it seems very convenient that he's seen everywhere and she's in the media business. She's in the promotions business and public promotions, that is, of people who are in it. She's very liberal. Apparently, she posted a private picture that went public. That's where all of this, I guess, the rumorville started. And if I could find that, not the post, but what the post read, it said something about no longer withholding joy, something along that line, with a picture of the two of them together. And that is what started the speculation. And, of course, her divorce from her husband, whose name is Michael Hale, or Hal, I think it's Hal. He's a fellow Democrat strategist and former senior advisor to Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg. Yes, I know that asks more questions than it answers, but that's not the point. Anyway, those two filed for divorce in May of 2023, citing irreconcilable differences. That's the reason why those two broke up. And this was one of the posts that she put in November 13th of 2023. Tara McGowan posted this. Beyond original newsletters, podcasts, social media series, Courier's new national vertical will publish video opinion pieces from prominent pro-democracy leaders fighting for our rights and freedoms, like this call from U.S. Senator Chris Murphy to ban assault weapons in the United States. And so she was posting stuff like this from her publication. And so they were, somewhat, in the throes of a relationship, be it professional or otherwise. So again, I don't know what to make of it. I don't know. But if they're happy, they're happy. But Chris, with all due respect, get a divorce first, okay? All right? If there's anything that's going to upset the soon-to-be ex-wife, is you gallivanting before the papers dry, okay? Or even written up for that matter. Just don't do it. Don't do it. Take it from a guy who's made that mistake, okay? Take it from a guy who's made that mistake. You don't want to be there. Let's go to the phones. Jim is in Wellington. He's been on hold for a bit. How we doing, Jim?
Yes, sir. Nice to talk to you.
What's going on?
Follow up on a couple of points, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Follow up on your first half hour's commentary on
the opening monologue.
With you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I'll tell you what. I don't listen to you or anybody else thinking I'm always going to agree.
Right.
I want somebody stirring a pot on whatever point it is they're trying to make, because the last time I checked, that's what you're in the business of doing. That's what you're supposed to be doing.
Indeed.
And if I don't know you personally, and I've never met you, but I will give you the same benefit of the doubt that I would give anybody. In other words, you don't have to take the low road when you disagree with somebody.
Right.
And you let the series of their conversations or their opinions over a number of months or years or whatever, how long you listen, dictate to you whether or not I'm going to continue to listen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to listen to agree with you. I happen to agree with you on probably 80%. But that's not the reason that's not the only reason that I'm listening.
It's funny you say that, Jim, because remember I had that conversation. Oh, no, I didn't have it on the air. I had it behind the scenes. A woman who was emailing me about Donald Trump extending VA care to veterans outside of the VA hospital. And she kept trying to correct me about it. And she said in her email to me that I'm probably one of the people who listen to your show who don't agree with you. And I said, that's not the purpose of this show. I don't need a bunch of, mini me's running around. I don't need, I don't need the yes men. I want people to engage with in a conversation with me. And of course, most people are going to disagree.
Well, let me just follow up. When I don't, the people that I like who I don't agree with, well, I like the fact that if they've got an opposing view, the ones that follow it up with facts, are the ones I will listen to time and time again, because they get you to think.
That's all I want.
You need to be able to think, to bolster up your own position. Maybe you're wrong about some part of what you believe in.
That's right.
But when you get this constant, whatever, where there's no facts, that she's screaming whatever, I could care less about it. So in my last point, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
Can you imagine when Trump was in front of Congress? Can you imagine if some Democrat that we don't know, I don't care where he's from, every time Trump spoke personally about somebody in the audience or in the gallery, stood up, that Democrat stood up and started cheering and clapping. Can you imagine what the type of press he would have gotten? Well, 80% negative, but he would have gotten a tremendous amount of attention.
Let me tell you this. By the way, there was a woman who did stand up in the Democrat Party. I'll play the audio later. I saw it over the weekend, Jim. Let me give you a little breakdown. Not only, first of all, she stood up because I think she survived cancer as well. And so when the 13-year-old DJ Daniel was, commemorated with the honorary Secret Service badge, she stood up for him and looked towards him and applauded. She was one of the lone Democrats who stood up applauding him when that happened. And mind you, with all of the talk the whole week about Democrats not standing up, no one had this woman on their show. I saw her this weekend on Mike Smirkanish's CNN show over the weekend. It's the only show. You saw that?
I actually saw that clip somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly. Can you believe that? It's the only show. Now, again, when you've got Democrats being raked over the coals about not standing up for them, you had one lone Democrat, and no one in the liberal news media even wanted to focus on her. But again, it would have salvaged it would have salvaged Democrats' reputation to feature that woman and says, look, not all Democrats are like this, but they didn't even bring her on.
But let me round up my point, and then I'll get off the air.
Yes, sir.
The point being that's one of the first salvos against the lunacy of the progressive left.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes political courage and spine. And I've said on your show many times, right now you don't have that in the Democratic Party.
No.
You don't have any of them. Nobody's how to stand up for anything.
Yeah.
And hey, listen, the Chris Murphy thing. I've said this many times. I don't care about a politician's personal life.
Right.
All I care about is what he's doing or what she's doing in office and what are the results.
Exactly.
So,
I know. Hey, I'm just poking fun at him because of the fact that.
I know.
Yeah,
I hear you.
This is just me having fun with it. But I totally appreciate where you're coming from. Thank you, Jim. Always appreciate it, sir. Let's take a break. We'll come back. More news, more views. We'll talk about the Disney cruise. We'll talk about the last but not least caller of the day. And in the 4 o'clock hour, we'll talk about Jen Tooker. I've got audio from her weekend interview with Dennis House. Dennis House, that's his name. Dennis House on WTNH when we return. Stick around. More news, more views. It's Reese on the Radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Hey, it's Tom Shattuck. As you know, my friend Phil has been doing Awaken 180 weight loss for about a month. Last week, we checked in with Phil, who's on vacation in Florida, and he's down more than 20 pounds. After a month, it's looking like 30 pounds of fat gone. Phil, how are you managing to resist all of the vacation foods around and stick to Awaken 180 weight loss?
We went grocery shopping. We got the things off of the menu from the program. Tom, I guess I'm just so excited about the weight loss. I don't want to cheat. I'm doing the shakes. I'm doing the drinks, the chili, the sloppy joes. It's working, and I'm not craving anything.
And that's really the magic of Awaken 180 weight loss. Now, seeing the numbers in the scale come down, that's great. But how else can you tell that you're a much skinnier Phil?
Funny part is, Tom, coming in and out of the swimming pool, my bathing trunks are like falling off me. I have to kind of make sure I'm not carrying anything. I've got to hold my bathing suit up because it's starting to slide off. It's kind of crazy. I feel great. I'm really pumped.
Feeling pumped and losing weight begins by calling 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Looking for the perfect place to unwind after a busy day? Avon Old Farms Hotel and the Simsbury Inn have dining options to match your every mood. At Twigs Lounge at the Simsbury Inn, good times are always on the menu. Join us for happy hour Monday through Thursday. From 4 till 6, we feature live music Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. If brunch is more your vibe, join us on Sundays for our award-winning brunch at Evergreens Restaurant. Each week, 11 a.m. till 1:30. Twigs Lounge and Evergreens Restaurant, nestled in the heart of Simsbury at the Simsbury Inn. If you're looking for a dining experience that celebrates the flavors of the season, come to the Seasons Restaurant at Avon Old Farms Hotel. Every dish is crafted with fresh, local ingredients, inspired by the best of every season. Whether you're enjoying a cozy dinner or celebrating a special occasion, every meal is unforgettable. Join us Wednesdays for live music, Thursdays for trivia, or on Sundays for brunch. It's all at Seasons Restaurant at Avon Old Farms Hotel.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got rain in your bathroom, water in the sinks overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Does your current trophy wife want a life insurance policy 3 times the size of your previous mistakes? Relax and call Big Lou at Term Provider. Big Lou says if you're in your 50s, even a bit porky, a $1 million term life policy should only cost about $200 to $300 per month. Call Big Lou at 800-529-2856. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He likes trophies, too. Here we go. Affordable life insurance. Call 800-529-2856.
It's Reese on the Radio. Ask your doctor if common sense is right for you. On News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Do not forget, folks, that you can win a cruise on the Disney Destiny cruise liner for 4 if you download the Odyssey app. And you do that, and you have to register online on the Odyssey app. And every time you go into the Odyssey app, of course, your name is already there and your information is already there. And if you listen for 1 hour a day, at least 1 hour, count it down, 59. Just get there at least 1 hour a day so that you can be entered for an opportunity to win a cruise on the Disney Destiny cruise liner for 4 people. All right, that's 7 days a week, 1 hour a day. On the drive home, you can do it with me. You can do that and listen live. Also, our last but not least caller of the day is going to win a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe, located in South Windsor, Vernon, and Manchester. Now, because I love Between Rounds, and they have been some of the nicest people as far as a sponsor is concerned, and this is something that I do personally, to let you know some inside baseball. And I don't say this to pat myself on the back, I promise. I love sponsors. I love them because, of course, they pay the bills, but it gives you an opportunity to get to know the people who have, in essence, invested in your show. They really believe in you. They love the program. Sometimes they listen and they want to hear the show. If they love it so much, they will turn around and say, hey, you know what? that guy Reese, I want to sponsor on his show. I want to have him talk about my product. I go down there and I meet them. I find out what they do. Sometimes I actually do the thing that they are selling. Like I got LASIK surgery because a sponsor back, in my Connecticut. I had it back in 2004, late 2004. I got LASIK surgery back when it was really expensive, like $6,000, like that expensive. So this sponsor gave it to me, and I loved working with them because I can incorporate LASIK and my eyesight into pretty much every conversation because I was having, I had astigmatism and I couldn't drive at night. I couldn't drive in the rain at night. It was really, really tough. So anyway, those companies, I really, really love them. So I got this message over the weekend, and it was from Paul from Between Rounds, which I still to this day, I couldn't wait. I told my wife, I'm sorry, Jerry, I apologize, not Paul, Jerry. This is what Jerry sent me over Between Rounds. He goes, a buddy I play racquetball with is pushing for the Reese peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I'm thinking about it. I'll keep you posted. And that made me feel like I felt like king of the world as soon as I heard that. A guy he plays racquetball with said to me, hey, what's going on with Reese on the Radio's peanut butter and jelly sandwich? And that, I'm like, somebody is out there lobbying for me that actually, it's like knowing somebody, you know what I mean? That's a big deal. So I'm glad they're thinking about it. Look, like I said, it doesn't matter whether or not it happens or not. I just love being considered. I just love the consideration. Even if they can't work it out, I love the fact that they've really thought about it. Really. Very happy. Let's get our first check of the weather with Jason Catarinas and your traffic with our good friend Mark Christophers in the BPS Traffic Center. Happy Monday, Mark.
Same to you, Reese. Thank you very much. Well, if you're heading into Hartford, southbound 91 delays 34 down to 32 A and B. Northbound.
I think everybody waiting for you to be official tissue.
For the winter, westbound 84 slows.
That's going to change a lot of things.
Yeah. 6 Sisson Avenue, 84 eastbound, some slow traffic, 46 down to the Bulkley, 291, 384. That looks good east of the river. 2 eastbound, moving well, Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound's a little slow at the Aragoni Bridge. 9 northbound, look out.
We really should be like a month and a half in, 6 weeks in or something like that right now.
It's out of there now, but delays still back to exit 32 in Berlin behind that. Westbound side of 84, a little tight by 25A in Waterbury. And if you're heading down in toward New Haven, 95 southbound, some slow traffic, 46 down to 44 in New Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
A mostly sunny and mild Monday afternoon to kick off the new week. The high moving up to 59 today. Clear and chilly tonight. The low dipping down to 33. We've got a pretty pleasant stretch of weather as we make our way through much of the week. It'll be much milder on Tuesday. Partly sunny and breezy. The high up to 65. Then Wednesday, the only cooler day, but listen, it's still going to be mild with a mix of clouds and sun. The high dialed back to 51. Now Thursday, lots of clouds, a little cooler still, the high down to 49. Friday, we begin to warm back up, making our way into the weekend. A mix of clouds and sunshine, the high moving up to 59 on Friday. Now Saturday, mostly cloudy but warmer, the high jumping up to 61 for the day. Then Saturday night, it'll be mild with some low clouds, the low dipping down to 53. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
63 degrees, 4 o'clock. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. Tonight, low in the mid-30s, high in the mid-60s, and windy tomorrow.
This is breaking news from the WTIC newsroom on WTIC News Talk 1080 and WTIC.com.
At the close, it's been a rough Monday on Wall Street. The Dow was down well over 1,000 points earlier. Now the Dow down 895, S&P down 157, the NASDAQ off more than 4%. It's at minus 728. Leading stockholder concerns are President Trump's on-again, off-again tariffs. Here's CBS's Jason Brooks.
The tariff spat with Mexico and Canada has sparked volatility in the market. And even though the February jobs report was mostly in line with estimates on a gain of 151,000 jobs, investors are concerned about the labor market going forward due to heavy Doge-led layoffs in the federal government.
This is market analyst Bob Dahl.
Markets hate uncertainty, and the uncertainties around the economic trajectory, tariffs, tax cuts, the job market, inflation.
China imposing new tariffs on the U.S. in response to the Trump tariffs.
The Chinese tariffs that are going into effect today, 15% tariffs on a lot of U.S. farm products. So we're talking about things like chicken, wheat, corn, soybeans, pork, beef, fruit. And unlike Mexico and Canada, China's taking a kind of hands-off approach. They are not pushing for negotiations. As far as we know, there are no big talks scheduled, particularly not between President Trump and President Xi.
CBS's Nancy Cordes reporting. West Hartford police say a paraprofessional is accused of inappropriately touching 2 juvenile students in a program for those with significant behavioral and emotional disabilities. 24-year-old Dean Jones of Hartford is also
You expecting Ken Nelson?
related texts to a
And
student.
yes.
Charged with 2 counts of 4th-degree sexual assault and 1 count of enticing a minor by computer. Jones posted a $125,000 bail and is due in court later this month. The conflict with President Trump is boosting the Liberal Party in Canada, which has chosen investor Mark Carney as prime minister. CBS's Ed O'Keefe is there.
Polling for months had given the opposition party, Conservatives, a double-digit lead over the Liberals, in part because this country was getting tired of nearly a decade of Justin Trudeau as prime minister. But in recent weeks, polling has shown the gap closing, and the Liberals now potentially with the opportunity to hold on to power. Former Canadian Prime Minister last night even joking, Donald Trump has been so good for Liberal Party politics that they should consider giving him this country's highest civilian honor for doing them the favor.
Elections expected there later this year. Doctors say Pope Francis is no longer in imminent danger of death from pneumonia, but the 88-year-old will remain hospitalized for several days. He's been there since February 14th. He remains in stable condition and is said to be improving. Waterbury police say a 25-year-old woman is seriously injured and in stable condition. That's after a stabbing at about 9 this morning. The male suspect is in custody. He's identified as 37-year-old Robert Clark, who was in a relationship with the victim. They share children. DCF has been called in. Police say Clark jumped from a second-story window to try and get away from police. He's also hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries. Charges include first-degree assaults. Across the state, the risk for brush fires gets greater with persistent drought. The U.S. Drought Monitor says central Connecticut is in severe drought. Alan Zygmunt is with the Connecticut Fire Academy.
Department of
Do me a favor,
Energy
Roland,
and Environmental
ask
Protection
Nelson again
issues
what he was
a
supposed to be
forest fire
talking,
danger
what he's talking to me about. I
warning
gotta
today,
find
and
the
today
link
it's
real quick.
listed as hot.
All right.
So generally what that means is there's no open burning typical during high, very high, or extreme fire conditions.
Last fall, drought conditions led to dozens of brush fires across the state, including the Hawthorne fire in Berlin, which spanned over 100 acres. Again on Wall Street, the Dow down 890, S&P dropping 156, NASDAQ off 4%, down 728 points.
Flag issues in the school?
Plays Creighton for
Which
the Big
one?
East women's
Flag issues in the schools?
Mohegan Sun.
Yes.
Okay.
Check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
Life insurance.
1 minute.
Putting it off. Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet. So make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818.
Here we go.
That's 800-215-6818.
It's Reese on the radio. And don't say we didn't warn you on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
You see what happens to me? I totally get wrapped up in a whole bunch of stuff, and we do have a guest today. None other than Ken Nelson, the Enfield Town Mayor, is actually on hold right now. We'll get to him in a second because I scheduled an interview with him, but for some odd reason I got caught up in this other story that I had to deal with Jen, and I apologize. So don't worry, Ken, we'll still have you on, and we'll get to why you called, because I know it's an important issue going on in the schools in Enfield, and it's something we've been meaning to address with you for a long time. So stay on hold. We'll get to you. I promise. We also will talk about Jen Tooker. She has officially launched her campaign to run for governor in 2026. We know that Ned Lamont has not, and we know that Aaron Stewart is in an exploratory campaign. I don't know what that's about. But we'll talk about why I think that Jen Tooker didn't do herself any favors talking to Dennis House over the weekend. And we'll have the audio sound bites for that as well. We still got the stupidest thing that I've read today about Michelle Obama. And I think the other thing was, the question of the day will be, Jen Tooker and your take on her if you did get an opportunity to check out the interview. If not, don't worry, we'll hash it out here as well. What was the thing that I was just literally just saying to myself, I need to cover that before we go to a break. But now that I've forgotten it, because I had to remember the Ken Nelson conversation, which don't worry, we'll take care of. Sometimes a lot of stuff comes into my emails and I make plans and I forget about them because I'm so overwhelmed. I'm going to need a staff. I think I need a staff, like one intern. I don't want anybody working for free though. So if there's anyone out there who can work for pennies on the dollar, let me know. Yeah, that's a real way to lure them in there, Reese on the Radio. Let's get another check of the weather with Jason Caterina. But first, your traffic with Mark Christopher, who's in the BPS Traffic Center. How are we doing, sir?
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. If you're heading toward Hartford right now and you're on the eastbound side of I-84, just look for a little slow traffic, 46th Avenue into the tunnel. Westbound 84 slowing, so approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney. 91 southbound delays 34 down to 32 AMB. Looks real good. 91 northbound Cromwell up into Winter Locks. 291, 384, that looks good east of the river. If you're 2 eastbound, no problems. Glastonbury to Marlboro. Middletown looks okay, 9 in the Aragoni Bridge. Earlier accident, 9 northbound between 35 and 36 has been cleared out of the way. You got delays 32 up to exit 34 now. And on some delays on the southbound side of Route 9 by exit 20, or I should say by exit 33 in Berlin. It is a little slow, 84 westbound in Waterbury by 25, again by the Mixmaster. If you're traveling into New Haven, 95 southbound slowing from 46 down to exit 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
No, Jason? I don't think Jason's there.
A beautiful start to the week on our Monday afternoon.
No, he's not there.
Skies pleasant and mild with the high of 59. Tonight under clear skies, going to be chilly, the low down to 33. We got a pretty decent stretch of weather coming up through much of the week. Milder on Tuesday, partly sunny, the high up to 65. Now Wednesday, just a bit cooler in the wake of a frontal passage, but still mild with the high of 51 and a mix of clouds and sun. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
For quality vinyl siding, the Peter L. Brown Company is your best choice. Let us show you the difference a beautifully installed Peter L. Brown vinyl siding job can make. Please visit peterlbrown.com for roofing, siding, windows, and doors.
Choose Syntec Full Synthetic Motor Oil, formulated for today's engines only at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select filter for just $32.99 in-store only. Limits apply. Learn more at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Dreaming of a perfect smile? At Columbia Dental, our orthodontic experts specialize in braces and clear aligners like Invisalign. Get the smile you've always dreamed of. Open 7 days
now
a week.
Remember.
Call 860-645-0111 or visit ColumbiaDental.com.
If your air conditioner and furnace are over 10 years old, they've pretty much gone to the dogs. But at Ayala Home Services, we can fetch you a free furnace with our 2-for deal. For a limited time, when you purchase a new air conditioning system, you receive a free furnace. We also offer free, no-obligation estimates for these new systems. Call, click, or text and say hello, ALO. Call for details. Licensed for safety. P1027768AD, P1040145, P1185643, S33086999, HIC 628926, SM30044646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
Feel like everything I doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
First time seeing my son, I feel like my life did a 180. He really a definition of like why he loves somebody.
Through all of fatherhood's first, never stop being a dad. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated in the best hearing aids of 2024 by USA Today, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, just $189.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 500,000 happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
The self-proclaimed love child of Rush Limbaugh.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
Reese on the radio on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Yeah, we're back. It's Reese on the radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. I want to make sure that I put this up right here so you can see this fine gentleman who I'm applauding for standing up for what's right and what's decent. Let's put our hands together for the infield town mayor, Mr. Ken Nelson, for joining the program. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for joining us, and I apologize that I had to scramble, but I do remember why you're here, and you are doing something that is, to be honest with you, it's hard to find anyone in the state who is going to stand up against these rabble-rousers in the so-called civil rights organizations, in particular Black Lives Matter. For those of you who do not know, Ken Nelson is standing up against the Black Lives Matter flag being flown or hung inside of a classroom because the mayor believes that Black Lives Matter is anti-police. Please explain, Mr. Mayor, if you could.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on this afternoon.
No problem.
It is not about the Black Lives Matter flag. It's about all flags in general and removing any contention in a classroom. About 8 months ago, I received a complaint from a family whose children are part of this science class. And they are children of a police officer. And they feel offended that a flag is allowed to be flown in a classroom and their family is in law enforcement.
Right.
Now, I look out for all children, and a year ago, we got into removing all contentious flags off of town property, and the main reason is to avoid lawsuits.
Correct.
Now, these are public schools. They are public classrooms. And can somebody explain to me how a flag, and in this particular case, it was not just one flag. There were 3 separate flags. But in order for this teacher to take a stand and try to make more out of it than what was really there, he removed 2 of the flags, only leaving the Black Lives Matter flag, hoping that he could gain enough attention on this issue and stir up, the group to maybe come and do a protest.
Sure.
So it's not about Black Lives flag. It's Black Lives Matter flag. It's about all flags.
Right.
And it's about the safety of our children. And like I said, these are public funded schools. And a teacher's personal belief has no place in the classroom. In the state of Connecticut, a teacher was removed from her job for having a cross in her classroom.
That is correct.
So how is it okay to remove her for her strong beliefs in religion, but allow this to continue in a classroom in Enfield? To me, it only sets up the town for a lawsuit. And in today's economy, and the budget's as tight as they are, we can't afford a lawsuit in Enfield. Boston got sued for $2 million for a flag issue. And I don't want to be the one who makes a decision of what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. So let's just remove them all and keep the American and military flags. Problem solved. And that's as simple as it is. But that doesn't gain the traction for their cause.
No. Listen,
down.
you're 100% right. By the way, if you're just joining us, we're on the phone with Mayor Ken Nelson of Enfield. Mayor, this is, look, I just want to applaud you for standing up, because what's going to be pushed on you, and I'm reading in the CT Insider article, that was the one that was forwarded to me. As you said, this isn't about Black Lives Matter. It's about all flags that have a political bent. And, you know, you can make the case. And if I were you, I would, but I know you won't. If it was me, I would do it. I'm sorry. I'm just that kind of guy. You, on the other hand, you're trying to be very respectful of people, but you're standing your ground. I get you. See, my issue is that you need to hold these people's feet to the fire by having them answer the hard questions they're forcing you to live by. Because on one level, and I know this isn't really associated, but I kind of want to make this point anyway. It's like the conversation about removing the 10 Commandments or any form of religion from the school, right? We should not say the Pledge of Allegiance because it has the word God. But at the same time, how dare you stop a Muslim kid from leaving their classroom to go pray to the east, right? His religious freedom protected. Christians, Catholics, or anyone else for that matter, completely barred. In this case, Black Lives Matter, what they're doing is saying because it's Black Lives Matter, you can question nothing associated with any African Americans' rights because they supersede everyone's. My question to you is this. Forget about all the other flags. Why not say this? And it's a great, I think it's a great response to any one of them. If the Black Lives Matter flag has to be represented, every Lives Matter flag should be represented as well. And if this flag wishes to fly, all of them should.
I couldn't agree with you more, but the American flag does that.
Right.
The American flag covers every single one of us in this country. The military flag, these men and women fought and died for our freedoms to be able to have conversations like this. So that's the flag that I support. And if you don't support the American flag, then you're not part of the solution. You're part of the problem.
Indeed. Do you think that this teacher is getting protections, in essence, in the press? Because I read the stuff that's being talked about, and it almost feels like the writing of this story, or the presentation of this story is because he is a black teacher, because he believes that he should have this flag up, that any opposition to it is racist or bigoted. Are you getting that impression, and are you being pressured because of that?
No, the teacher is not a black teacher.
Oh,
it's
it isn't.
a white teacher.
It's a white teacher.
Yep. And the one who went to the news about this is actually his wife. And she said that, the mayor is pressuring teachers and is hostile towards the teachers, and therefore she was going to resign. She resigned a year ago. She doesn't even work for the Enfield Public Schools.
Wow.
And when I explained this to the news, the TV, I said, they're using you to try to further the Black Lives Matter flag. And it's not about that one flag. What about the other two flags that he took down so he could promote just that one cause? And she's like, oh, that's a good point. Let me look into it. The next day, she sent me a text saying, we're going with the story. Of course you are. And I made a comment that, Black Lives Matter is anti-police.
They are.
And they challenged me on it. So I opened up their homepage, and right on their homepage is a petition to defund the police.
Indeed.
Now, me being the mayor of Enfield, if I were to defund education, I'm anti-education. They've challenged me on it 100 times. Although we've never defunded them, we've just not giving them the increase that they asked
That's
for.
right.
So which is it? If defunding the police isn't anti-police, then how am I anti-education if I don't fulfill the full budget? It's the same people crying the same story. So you can't have it both ways, Reese.
No, we know that. We understand that. And you don't have I hate to use the word sympathetic, but a fair and balanced media, because again, this is one of those stories that they, in essence, wish to browbeat you. If they think that if this story shames you enough, you'll allow the flag to fly. That's what the intent is. The intent is to shame you or to bully you into, I don't want this kind of attention. All right, you know what? We'll give in and we'll just put the flag up, which will only lead to more flags that are probably much more demonstrative than Black Lives Matter. I'll tell you that without beyond a shadow of a doubt, because it's never enough with these folks. Where are we, Mayor, on this issue? Are you just keeping it from being hung or flown inside the school, or what's the process in all of this?
So as of right now, a formal complaint has been given to the Board of Education, and they are doing their due diligence and research on this, because obviously on situations like that, you have to walk lightly because, you know, everybody is so sue happy nowadays. Yeah. And, you know, it's the point that I guess I would say is if that teacher is willing to allow a Blue Lives Matter or the blue line flag to fly next to it, is he willing to do that? Is, you know, and who makes him the one to be able to decide what's appropriate and what's not in a science class? So my question to the Board of Education was, show me in the science curriculum where this flag and the two other flags have anything to do with a science class. Also, in the Teacher's Code of Ethics, it says, the state code of ethics, it says a teacher will not put their personal beliefs on the children. Well, that's exactly what's happening here. So I personally think he's in violation of the state code of ethics.
Right.
I am going to let the Board of Education do their investigation and follow through, but I will not turn my back on a student or students in our district, because what does that say to children? If anything, that says their voice doesn't matter, and their voice does matter. So I'm in it with them. I'm happy that they finally gone public, because like I said, this started as a phone call 8 months ago, kind of didn't get any legs to it until a discussion was discussed in a charter revision committee, where I said that it's inappropriate for any of these flags to be in a public building or school. And I wanted something put in the charter that says only the American flag and the military flags can be flown. And that's when certain people picked up on it. The story grew legs again. And, you know, now we're going to find out, really, does it belong in a classroom or not? Because me personally, I don't believe it does.
I think it's political. I think it's a political thing. We want to keep politics out of our schools. The body politic with respect to anything that is political, I don't think kids need to be involved in that, and teachers should not express themselves politically in the classroom. Hey, before you go, Mayor Nelson, can you please tell everybody you've got a great acronym, or at least, well, I guess it's an acronym for DEI, because they posted it in the CT Insider. Can you tell everybody what you said DEI stood for? I love this.
DEI stands for a dead-end initiative by the Democrats. I mean, it doesn't get any clearer than that. The DEI Commission in Enfield, they imploded. It had nothing to do with the town council. Their own members refused to work with each other.
Indeed.
And they didn't have enough members left to have an actual legal meeting. And we only, out of 8 months, we only received 2 applications, which still did not give them enough to have a quorum to have a legal meeting. So they imploded on their own. I'm not going to mislead Enfield's residents to thinking we have a DEI committee when we don't. They were defunct. They didn't work. And, let's move on and let's go merit-based.
I would push back on this. I would push back on this, Mayor. Let me explain something to you. First of all, when anyone starts pushing DEI in your school or anywhere that you may happen to work or whatever the case is, all you have to do is explain to them that how can you want DEI when calling someone a DEI hire is an insult? That's all. You have to ask it. All you have to do is say that, here's a DEI hire. Don't dare you say that. Well, then why do we need it if you don't like to be referred to it? That's all.
I couldn't agree with you more. And me personally, I think male, female, race, all of that should be removed from job applications. Put down your resume. What can you do to be hired for this job? What benefits can you help to move this company or town forward? It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, if you're white or black. What matters is what experience you have for the position. Now, obviously, there's positions that require more physical work.
Sure.
So at that point, when you answer the question, can you lift 200 pounds and throw it over your shoulder? If they answer yes, well, then you meet it.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a lot of people that can do that.
I cannot do that, Mayor.
And neither can I. But you and I are smart enough not to apply for those positions.
Indeed. Mayor Ken Nelson of Enfield, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Look, you know what? If anything comes of this, please reach out anytime. You got the hotline. Just get on the phone with us and let us know that there's an update so we can talk to you about it. Good luck to you. We stand with you. We'll be following the story as well, and we'll give updates as they come in. Okay?
Sounds good. Thank you.
You
Reese.
got it. Thank you, sir. Good luck to you.
Yeah.
That is Ken Nelson, mayor of Enfield, and we'll follow that story. Push back on these knuckleheads. You got to push back on them. There's nothing to be afraid of. These people are wimps. Let's get a check on the weather, but first, Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hello, sir.
Hey there, Reese. Thank you. Southbound 91 coming into Hartford. Got delays 33 down to 32 IMB. Northbound 91's moving well. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slowing, approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound, you've got delays now approaching 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. Looks good. 291, 384 east of the river. 2 eastbound's okay. Glastonbury to Marlboro. Looks good in Middletown. Seeing some slow traffic. 9 southbound 35. Down to exit 32 from New Britain into Berlin on the southbound side of Route 9. Westbound 84 Waterbury, a little slow 22 into the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound in Newtown, some slow traffic 10 to 11. South 95 New Haven's a little tight 46 down to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
A mostly sunny and mild Monday afternoon to kick off the new week. The high moving up to 59 today. Clear and chilly tonight. The low dipping down to 33. We've got a pretty pleasant stretch of weather as we make our way through much of the week. It'll be much milder on Tuesday. Partly sunny and breezy. The high up to 65. Then Wednesday, the only cooler day, but listen, it's still going to be mild with a mix of clouds and sun. The high dialed back to 51. Now, Thursday, lots of clouds, a little cooler still, the high down to 49. Friday, we begin to warm back up, making our way into the weekend. A mix of clouds and sunshine, the high moving up to 59 on Friday. Now, Saturday, mostly cloudy but warmer, the high jumping up to 61 for the day. Then Saturday night, it'll be mild with some low clouds, the low dipping down to 53. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Hey, it's Eric Erickson. I hope you'll tune in to listen to my show every weeknight at 6 right here on WTIC News Talk 1080. I'll break down the news of the day, everything from national politics down to the battle at the local school board. I'm not going to give you the party line, no predictable red meat. I'll give you the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, and what's going on in this insane world. I hope you'll join me. The Eric Erickson Show, weeknights 6 till 9 right here on WTIC News Talk 1080 and on the free Odyssey app.
And now, a WTIC news update.
63 degrees at 4:30. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. After the worst week for stocks since September, Wall Street was down in the dumps again today.
Heavy selling accelerated on Wall Street, sending the market to its worst session of 2025. on the heels of the worst week for stocks in 6 months. The stock market's fear gauge, the VIX, spiked to its highest level in 2.5 years as big tech stocks were crushed in the sell-off, including Tesla, Apple, and AI chipmaker NVIDIA. The Nasdaq sustained its third biggest point decline in its history at 728 points, while the S&P 500 posted its ninth largest ever decline.
That's CBS's Jason Brooks. The Dow settled at minus 890 after falling more than 1,000 points earlier. In response to tariffs from President Trump, China now imposing tariffs on many U.S. farm products, which analysts say will hurt demand.
It's the latest escalation of a trade fight between the world's two biggest economies. The Chinese tariffs will include a levy of 15% on U.S. products, including chicken, wheat, and corn, as well as 10% on products like soybeans, pork, beef, and fruit. Jim Crisula, CBS News.
West Hartford police say a paraprofessional is accused of inappropriately touching 2 juvenile students in a program for those with significant behavioral and emotional disabilities. 24-year-old Dean Jones of Hartford is also accused of sending sexually related texts to a student. He's charged with 2 counts of 4th-degree sexual assault and 1 count of enticing a minor by computer. Jones posted a $125,000 bail and is due in court later this month. A North Haven man and his baby son died in a Vermont car crash over the weekend. State police say 39-year-old Taylor Bennington and 4-month-old Perry were killed when their Hyundai Iconic collided with a fuel tanker during a snow squall on I-91. The tanker was stopped in the road because of other crashes. Bennington's wife and 3-year-old son survived. Sports tonight, third-ranked UConn plays Creighton for the Big East Women's Championship at Mohegan Sun. ESPN reports the Jets have signed quarterback Justin Fields to a 2-year deal. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever for a single line. Just $45 per month when you bring your phone, which is less than you spend on Too Tired to Cook takeout every week. Get 1 line on unlimited welcome for $45 per month with autopay plus taxes and fees. Visit your local Hartford Verizon store by April 2nd to save. $20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. I see website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, millions of men experience ED, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. At HIMSS, our own board-certified urologist, Dr. Peter Stahl, knows this better than anyone, and he knows that HIMSS can help.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, Senior Vice President of Men's Sexual Health at HIMSS. I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS.
Through HIMSS.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs. Options at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. Online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% less than brand name prices. Go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Stay locked in. Reese on the Radio is on WTIC News Talk 1080.
We're back. It's Reese on the Radio, NewsTalk 1080 WTIC. As I said earlier, Jen Tooker was on Dennis House's This Week in Connecticut program. And, you know, of course, she's just started her gubernatorial campaign for here in Connecticut. And Dennis House asked her a couple of, I would say, very basic questions. It wasn't in-depth. It's only 10 minutes long. So you really want to give the subject an opportunity to state who they are, what they represent, their track record, for lack of a better description of what she's been able to do as a politician. It was an overall good interview for her first one. I would have probably asked more probing questions. That's why I hope that Jen will take the opportunity to come onto the program, because we can spend a good 40 minutes, between two breaks to talk. And I could ask her some pointed questions about this particular interview. I want to start off by saying, playing one question that she was asked, and that was, how is Jen Tooker different from other Republicans who have recently tried and failed to become governor of Connecticut? Here's how that exchange went.
How are you different from those previous Republicans who've run for governor?
Well, interestingly enough, we all have a business background. What I would have different from the previous two Republican candidates is I've actually been an elected official.
Thank God she didn't say, first of all, I'm a female.
I've served my town of Westport in 4 different capacities over the last 14 years. And when I say my town of Westport, I will also remind everybody it's a very deep blue town. So as a Republican, I have a really great reputation of getting things done and a really great reputation as a leader of being thoughtful, pragmatic, and compassionate.
Now, again, that is a pretty good resume as a Republican in Westport. Nah, maybe not so much. It's Westport. A moderate Republican can run in Westport. I mean, it's Westport, folks. It's Westport. There's a go-along, get-along sort of sense of being politically viable in a town like Westport. So I understand that. People say a lot of liberal stuff outside, but a lot of conservative stuff inside. You know Westport. I do. My ex-wife is from there. So I understand that town very well. So I got that, and it is a good point to say that because you're a Republican in Westport, the fact that it's very blue, that you can survive there politically, that's a good thing. And she's done it in 4 different capacities. If you're popular, yeah, it could happen. It's not really much to brag about. It's a cold sore on a supermodel at best. But then there were some other things that were said. And this is where I took issue. This answer has got to be less incomplete. And this was really incomplete because she was asked how she differs or how she agrees with or differs with Donald Trump. And this is always going to be the standard as a Republican in the state of Connecticut or any blue state for that matter. It's going to be the level of which you support Donald Trump or you disagree with him. And this is where she ended up being incomplete. Listen to her response.
Do you think President Trump's been doing a good job so far? The leader of the Republican Party.
So President Trump definitely went to Washington to shake things up. And as
You
a
do know
result,
we gotta
I
go,
agree
right?
with him on a few things. And I agree.
Oh, dude, we got to go? Ah, damn it. I totally forgot what break we were in. We got to get to Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center. I got all deep into this. I'm sorry, Mark. Forgive me.
No big deal at all. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound side of 91, you're looking at delays 33 to 32 A&B, and another bump down by exit 22 in the Route 9 as you're changing Cromwell. Northbound 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 slows both the bridge out to exit 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound, some slow traffic, about a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. 291 384 okay, 2 eastbound moving well, Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 southbound, some slow traffic, 35 to 33 in Berlin. If you're heading toward Waterbury, slight slowdown. 84 westbound, 22 to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound, a little tight in Newtown, 10 up to exit 11. South 95, New Haven slows 46 to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8s WTIC News Talk 1080.
Brought to you by Staples.
Your local Staples has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. And right now at Staples, save up to $250 off your print order. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. Ends 4/5. Plus, save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
WTIC weather.
Clear and chilly tonight, the low down to 36. Then another beautiful day for us Tuesday. Partly sunny, breezy, and warm. There will be an elevated fire risk due to the gusty winds and low humidity, but the high back up to 66 for us. Cooler Wednesday, the high down to 51 with a mix of clouds and sun. Thursday, Still cloudy and cooler, the high of 49. Then it starts to warm up again as we head toward the weekend. Friday, a mix of clouds and sun, the high back up to 59. Right now, it's 61 in Waterbury, 64 in Danbury, 63 in Bristol, and 64 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
We have something to buzz about. Call the Bee. Connecticut trusted HVAC plumbing and drain professionals now offer electrical service. Call the Bee is ready to keep your home powered up. Visit callthebee.com. That's calltheletterb.com to schedule a speedy electrical service today.
Now at McDonald's, you can have it all with a 2 for $6 deal on a Filet-O-Fish, Big Mac, 10-piece McNuggets, or large fries. Price and participation may vary.
ProHealth Physicians has proudly been keeping Connecticut healthy for nearly 25 years. ProHealth accepts Husky Medicaid, Medicare, TRICARE,
How the
and
hell
most
did I
major
forget that?
insurances. For trusted
I didn't
local
even do
care for your whole
stupidest thing.
family, call 1.
You was all involved and you thought you was on an 18-minute thing.
Yeah.
They've pretty much gone to the dogs. But at Ayala Home Services, we can fetch you a free furnace with our 2-for deal. For a limited time, when you purchase a new air conditioning system, you receive a free furnace. We also offer free, no-obligation estimates for these new systems. Call, click, or text and say hello, ALO. Call for details. Licensed for safety. P1027768AD 10401465 E1185643 S3308699 HIC 628926 SM30044646 HOD 635 HOD 223.
Seems everything.
1 minute.
Days, gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our US-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you, and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
Welcome to Staples.
I hear Staples prints it all for any business.
You bet, and we'll beat any print quote.
So if I had a pizza place...
Staples can print signs, menus, pizza boxes.
A landscaping business?
Oh, we can print yard signs, t-shirts, brochures.
How about a pizza/landscaping business? I'll call it Dough and Mo.
I like it.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Ends 4/5, exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for
Here we go.
match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
The self-proclaimed love child of Rush Limbaugh.
They're running a strange program, y'all.
Reese on the radio on NewsTalk 1080 WTIC.
Somebody just sent me a text message, and they're working on getting Miss Tooker onto Mrs. I think it's Mrs. I don't know, Jen Tooker onto the program, and see if we can talk to her sometime this week, if not next week. So I appreciate somebody getting in contact with me and trying to make that happen. So work on it. I appreciate it. Anyway, let me get back to Jen Tooker. Okay, this is an important part. Do you think that Donald Trump is doing a good job? Right? So you've got to ask the Republican that. About how closely tied to the Trump administration are you politically? In essence, do you agree with him? Well, Jen Tooker responded to that. And again, this answer is incomplete. And it's also wrong. But it's incomplete. And let me explain to you why. If you are opposed to Donald Trump's position on Ukraine, it means you're opposed to peace. Because that's the only position he has on this. The position is he doesn't want senseless people to be killed. That's his position, to end the war. Any opposition to that means you wish to continue it. Her answer.
Do you think President Trump's been doing a good job so far? The leader of the Republican Party.
So President Trump definitely went to Washington to shake things up. And as a result, I agree with him on a few things. And I will disagree with him on a few things. And can I give you some examples?
Sure, please.
Okay, great. So what you may or may not know about me is in May of 2023, I went to the Ukraine in the middle of the conflict with Westport's police chief, Fody Koskinas, and a delegation from Ukraine Aid International, which is a nonprofit. And the reason we went is we were the first town or city to sign on to a sister city concept through this nonprofit.
So apparently you have something invested as a sister city to keep that sister city thriving, to keep the people there alive and get them out of the conflict that they clearly cannot win, right?
And so we went and visited Liman, which at the time was about that's our sister city, at the time about 5 kilometers away from the front lines. I saw firsthand the destruction of that country and the devastation that the residents and citizens were suffering.
So clearly, after seeing that firsthand, you want the conflict to stop. You want the carnage to end. That's obvious, right? In saying all of that, you clearly don't want any more destruction to continue. So why say this?
But I also saw firsthand their resilience. And I do not agree with President Trump's view on Ukraine and the Ukraine conflict.
Maybe you don't understand what his position is. So if I talk to her, I'd like that clarified. Do you understand the president's position on this? Because everything you just said sounds like you're invested in the Trump way, and that is putting an end to it. You have a sister city there in Limon. You went to the front lines. You saw the carnage. You saw the destruction. You clearly want those people to be, to live a better life, right? It doesn't make sense. But trust me, she went on. There's more. She was also talking about other things she disagreed with. Here's another.
I'll give you another example. Tariffs. I believe tariffs to be a direct tax on both our own consumers and certainly, absolutely would be problematic for the state of Connecticut and our business community.
Okay. What would be your plan? Do you not understand what the tariffs are? Do you not understand how they work? Okay. The tariff things, I don't have that much of a problem with. And with the way that the stock market is going today, I would say you even have a stronger argument on that. But you're going to have to be a little more, let's just say, complete on that answer. But then she went on to explain what she does agree with.
But I will tell you what I do agree with him on at a high level. Looking for more efficiency in government and rooting out waste. Without a doubt, I agree on that. And I've run, as I said, in 4 elections in Westport. If you go back and look at all of my palm cards and any of my information, I always run on finding government efficiencies and making government more effective.
So she's running on something that any fair-minded person would go on. Again, these are incomplete answers and incomplete inquiry into who she is as a conservative. It's trying to walk that fine line. I always have a problem with that. Always will have a problem with that. In order for you to be a conservative, your litmus test cannot be Donald Trump. You've got to come off as a conservative, a true one. Not this one that Democrats will like or that the activist class will not, push back against. I understand there's a huge activist class in the state, and you know who you are. But this has got to be, it has to be done better. This is weak-kneed at best. And I almost see the nervousness in her voice about having to associate with Trump, running as a Republican. If that was the case, I'd run as an independent. But you're going to have to either stand with the guy because you're going to be labeled a Trump person, whether you like it or not. You agreed with him on Doge. You agreed with him on government efficiency. You agreed with him on getting rid of waste, fraud, and abuse. You're tied to him now. So you're going to have to come out and show that. That's the way I look at it. Let's go. Chris is in Wethersfield. How we doing, Chris?
Good. How you doing, Reese?
Pretty good. What's up?
I kind of think this lady's right on the point because, in my view, so if she doesn't want to bow down to Donald Trump. She doesn't want to kiss the ring.
Right.
Okay. You may say, is she going to be a conservative or is she going to be a Republican? Is there a difference now? So Trump's made it to the point where these political people are afraid of him. They're afraid for their jobs. Mm-hmm. They're afraid for their livelihoods. And for what? We've lost 6% in the Dow. Mm-hmm. Now we're not sharing anything with Ukraine anymore. Our neighbors to the north, Canada, are using Donald Trump's tariffs against us. And if you see him wishy-washy going back and forth, there's a reason for that. It's because the tariffs don't work. Tariffs never worked. They never worked in the recession of 1933. And if Trump was a smart guy, he would read a textbook and figure that out.
Why did they work in? Wait, why did they?
Worse off than
Chris,
you are no better off financially.
Hold on, Chris.
You are no better off financially than where you were on January 19th.
Chris, why did the tariffs work in the first term then? You're comparing 1939.
Okay.
Hold
So
on.
what are they doing now?
But you did say, wait. I'm not disputing what they're doing now, but you said you're comparing now to 1939, but omitting the first term.
Tariffs don't work.
No. And again, why did they? I know. And first of all, that's a blanket statement that tariffs don't work, but they worked in the first administration. You can't say they don't work.
If they worked,
Did they
if
work?
they worked so well in the first administration, he would have been elected again for the second administration.
Actually, if you think that tariffs would have been the linchpin of him getting the 2020 election, you got to be kidding me. He had the greatest economy. COVID actually did more damage to that economy than ever before because people were out of a job and scared to death. And people were hoodwinked by all of the nonsense that the medical industry pretty much made them adhere to. There was no way, but let's take this also into consideration. I believe about that election, a story that will only take us down a well we don't want to go into. But I will say this.
Dude, I don't even want to hear it because I don't believe it.
That's okay. You don't have to.
Put out your spin, do
Chris,
whatever you want.
Chris, don't interrupt.
Dude, do whatever you want.
Chris,
it's bullcrap, dude.
Chris, there's nothing to read. There's nothing to interrupt. Let me finish the statement. Donald Trump got 63 million votes in 2016. Is that true? Yes, 63 million. Hillary got 66.
He lost the election, bro.
May I finish?
It's over.
May I finish?
It's over, dude.
May I finish? Thank you. In 2020, he got 75. So please, with this nonsense about how Donald Trump's last term got him no ground, you don't get more people voting for you to the tune of 12 to 11 million, 11 to 12 million, if he was doing a crappy job and he was such a threat to democracy after 2016, after the 2016 election, with the Russia collusion and everything else. So again, that's another story that, like I said, I don't want to get into the 2020 election. I don't even need to relitigate that. But I'm going to say this. A stock market crash one day is a rebound the next. And no one ever goes back to the crash and says, okay, we were wrong. Stock markets crash. We've seen this before. It's not like it hasn't happened before. In fact, Marketplace is going now saying, oh, it's not that bad of a deal. That's funny. That's interesting. I wonder why they're saying that, because they're no fan of Donald Trump. I wonder why they're giving him cover now. Did you see Market?
You guys, you'll pull out anything to
well, Chris, isn't that what you're doing? You're looking at today's. Isn't that what you're doing?
Right? It's a radio show. Let me talk.
Chris, isn't that what you're doing now?
Anything to agree.
Chris,
you'll pull out anything to agree to make something right.
Chris, you think that the stock market?
It's all him. He is the leader. He owns three branches of the government. It's his fault that the Dow is down now. It's his fault that Canada hates us. If you listen to the prime minister or the premier, whatever the hell he is over there, if you listen, he's all into this war.
Chris?
He's all into a tariff war with the United States because you know what? Especially Connecticut. How much electricity do we buy from Canada?
Again, Chris.
Again.
Calm down.
You can't answer the
no,
question.
I don't think you got. I don't think you. In fact,
the world.
Chris, what I express is never going to come out of my mouth because you seem to be jumping in at every moment that I seem to speak. Thank you for finally being quiet. I don't care what Canada says about it. And if you hedge everything that you do based upon what Canada is going to do, you think Canada is going to win a tariff war with the United States? You believe that?
Dude, are we winning the tariff war?
You haven't answered my question. Do you believe that Canada is going to answer my question? Do you think that Canada is going to win a tariff war with the United States? Yes or no?
I don't think anybody's going to win.
So,
nobody's going to win a
well,
tariff
you said
war.
that Canada.
Answer,
you said Canada hates us. Do you think Canada is going to win a tariff war against the United States? How much does Canada rely on the United States for its good? How much? What's the percentage?
I don't
What's
know
the
that.
percentage?
Dude,
you
I don't
should.
know. How much does the United States?
Chris.
How much does the United States
20
rely on Canada?
20%. How much does Canada rely on the United States? 78%. Who do you think's going to win that tariff? Who do you think's going to win? Who do you think?
Your sources.
I don't have to cite my sources. The sources.
Yeah, you did. Then you're lying to me.
Oh,
you're lying. Then.
How about
if you
this?
Can't cite your sources,
Let's make.
you're lying to me.
Chris, how about this? Let's make a bet on it. Let's make a bet on it.
No, I don't want to bet. Here,
come on, let's make a bet.
401k.
Let's make a bet on it. I'm going to put you on hold so you can listen anyway. We'll put a little wager on it. And it's real simple. It costs nobody any money. But it does cost ego. Go find out how much Canada relies on the United States. What the percentage is versus the United States to Canada. Go find out. You want me to cite my source? I'm giving you an opportunity to look it up yourself. Now, if I'm right, you come back here and you apologize. And then you take a month off, a little month sabbatical, just a month. And you don't talk about politics anymore until you come back and your punishment is done. And then you can come back and you can apologize. That's all. You can just do that. You don't really think I came in here not knowing what I'm talking about. I'm not worried about a stock market going down 1,000 points. That's a narrative. That's not how this thing works. The President of the United States told everybody that it was going to happen, and it had to happen. And then when it rebounds, everybody will act like, oh, I wasn't losing my stuff behind it. I wasn't jumping out of a window when it went down 1,000 points. When I tell people chill out, chill out. I haven't been wrong yet. I dare anybody to challenge me on this one. Anybody. Soon as I hear it, all of a sudden the bells and whistles. Dun, 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 breaking news. The stock market drops 1,000 points. Everybody goes bananas. Then when it's back up, no one says anything. Jim Cramer isn't panicking. And he's the worst. He's the worst. That guy said that Sam Bankman-Fried was like the second coming of who? Herbert. Who did he say? He was the second coming of? I can't even remember anymore. Howard Hughes? Yes, he was the second coming of Howard Hughes. I don't fall for this nonsense. Are you kidding me? People want Donald Trump to be wrong. I get it. Sitting idly by, rubbing your hands together like Dick Dastardly. You haven't seen the last of me. He's going to screw up. And when he does, I'll pounce. God bless you. God bless you. We understand how this works. I've been in this too long to understand. Too long. Jason Caterina's got your weather. By the way, Jason, you should check out Reese On The Radio. I think this is your picture. I hope I give you a good liking. And Mark Christopher as well, who's in the BPS Traffic Center. You will be back. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Well, good afternoon. If you're heading into Hartford right now on this beautiful Monday afternoon, southbound 91, a little slow, 33 down to 32 A&B. Another bump by exit 28. Some slow traffic again, 23 in Rocky Hill, West Street down to exit 22. And the Route 9 interchange. If you are traveling northbound 91, no issues. Cromwell up into winter. Westbound 84 is tight. Bulkley Bridge out to 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound slowing about a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue into the tunnel. Looks good east of the river. 291, 384, 2 eastbound's okay. Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 southbound's a little tight as you move into downtown Middletown by the Aragoni Bridge. Waterbury slightly slow. 22 on the westbound side of 84 up to the Mixmaster. 84 eastbound and Danbury tight by 5. 84 eastbound in Newtown, some slow traffic approaching 10 to 11. South 95 in New Haven slows 46 down to exit 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8s. WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
A mostly sunny and mild Monday afternoon to kick off the new week. The high moving up to 59 today. Clear and chilly tonight. The low dipping down to 33. We've got a pretty pleasant stretch of weather as we make our way through much of the week. It'll be much milder on Tuesday, partly sunny and breezy, the high up to 65. Then Wednesday, the only cooler day, but listen, it's still going to be mild with a mix of clouds and sun, the high dialed back to 51. Now Thursday, lots of clouds, a little cooler still, the high down to 49. Friday, we begin to warm back up, making our way into the weekend. A mix of clouds and sunshine, the high moving up to 59 on Friday. Now Saturday, mostly cloudy but warmer, the high jumping up to 61 for the day. Then Saturday night, it'll be mild with some low clouds, the low dipping down to 53. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is celebrating 100 years on the air and 100 years of serving Connecticut. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford and Odyssey Station.
64 degrees and sunny, 5 o'clock. I'm Dave Migger, WTIC 1080 News. When asked about the chance of a recession over the weekend, President Trump did not rule it out. The stock market reacted with a truly awful day.
Wall Street was stung with massive selling as investor worries ramped up over the impact of tariffs on the economy, sending the Nasdaq to its third biggest point decline in its history at 728 points. The S&P to its ninth biggest single-day plunge, while the Dow cratered nearly 890 points. Richly valued tech stocks bore the brunt of the sell-off, with AI chipmaker NVIDIA now down 30% from its all-time high, while Tesla shares plunged by double digits, now down 45% in 2025.
CBS's Jason Brooks reporting. Analyst Michael Farr of Hightower Advisors says Americans are looking at higher prices for products from China, Canada, and Mexico.
If the prices of those things go up and he continues to say that this is the right policy and we will exact these taxes, I don't see but that it doesn't keep markets heading south. And frankly, I don't see how we don't go into recession because of it.
China now imposing tariffs on many U.S. farm products in response to the Trump tariffs.
The Chinese know that Americans rely on Chinese goods far more than the Chinese rely on U.S. goods. And they also know that the last time we went through this during the first Trump term, that U.S. farmers in particular felt the squeeze. So China is in no hurry to go to the table.
CBS's Nancy Cordes. Tips led to the arrest of a New Mexico man in a Hartford cold case dating back to 2008. Now 47-year-old Mark White has been convicted of murder in the shooting of Jamar Joyner in Hartford. Joyner lived in Windsor. He was 25. White was in custody in New Mexico on drug and gun charges when he was arrested in the killing. Sentencing is set for June. Waterbury police say a 25-year-old woman is seriously injured and in stable condition. She was stabbed at about 9 this morning. 37-year-old Robert Clark is in custody and faces charges including first-degree assault. He was in a relationship with the victim. They share children. DCF has been called in. The fire risk grows as drought conditions continue. The U.S. Drought Monitor says central Connecticut is in severe drought. The shore isn't much better, labeled as being in moderate drought. Burning rules vary depending on your location, according to Alan Zygmunt of the Connecticut Fire Academy.
Check with your local fire department. Each community may have different regulations as to what is allowed and what is not allowed. Sometimes you need to get a permit for various different things. And this is everything from disposal of materials to even campfires.
He says any burning material should be drenched in water to make sure it's fully extinguished. The Connecticut Spelling Bee won over the weekend by 8th grader Nathan Set Van Demme of Summers. The winning word was polonaise. Nathan will represent the state for the second time at the National Spelling Bee in May. Again on Wall Street, the Dow was down 890, the S&P off 156, the Nasdaq fell 4% or 728 points. Sports, third-ranked UConn plays Creighton for the Big East Women's Championship tonight at Mohegan Sun. ESPN reports the Jets have signed quarterback Justin Fields to a 2-year deal. Fields, the former Steeler and Bear. ESPN also reports the New England Patriots are signing free agent defensive tackle Milton Williams. He had 2 sacks for the Eagles in their Super Bowl win. NBA tonight, the Celtics hosting Utah, the Knicks at Sacramento. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News.
Hey, it's Tom Shattuck. As you know, my friend Phil has been doing a week in 180 weight loss for about a month. Phil, who's on vacation in Florida, and he's down more than 20 pounds. After a month, it's looking like 30 pounds of fat gone. Phil, how are you managing to resist all of the vacation foods around and stick to a week in 180 weight loss?
We went grocery shopping. We got the things off of the menu from the program. Tom, I guess I'm just so excited about the weight loss. I don't want to cheat. I'm doing the shakes. I'm doing the drinks, the chili, the sloppy joes. It's working, and I'm not craving anything.
And that's really the magic of a week in 180 weight loss. Now, seeing the numbers in the scale come down, that's great. But how else can you tell that you're a much skinnier Phil?
Funny part is, Tom, coming in and out of the swimming pool, my bathing trunks are like falling off me. I have to kind of make sure I'm not carrying anything. I've got to hold my bathing suit up. Starting to slide off. It's kind of crazy. I feel great. I'm really pumped.
Feeling pumped and losing weight begins by calling 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
The hour that packs a punch. It's Reese on the radio on WTIC News Talk 1080.
We're back. It's Reese on the radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. Yeah, Chris was a little bit animated. By the way, Chris, if you're checking out ReeseOnTheRadio.com, I found that for you. Biden's stock market record so far is the worst since Jimmy Carter. No one's saying that today. No one. And that was in 2022. Worst since Jimmy Carter. That's all I need to say. I ignored this stuff. I look at what the stock market looks like and how it plummeted in 2022, how bad it was doing, how horrible it was. Everybody's like, no, but it's record numbers. The stock market's doing great. Yeah. Remember when they changed the definition of recession in Wikipedia? Remember that? There wasn't a lot of outrage. There was a lot of quote-unquote coverage for the Biden administration when we clearly had 2 quarters. You know, the definition of a recession? Anyway, I got to do this.
Yes, you do. Stupid as can be. This could very well be the stupidest person on the face of the earth.
Stupidest thing I read today, Michelle Obama is doing a podcast. I don't know if she was inspired by Gavin Newsom, but she's doing a podcast, and apparently she'll be talking to a bunch of people. No one knows exactly who, but I'm sure there'll be people like Ellen DeGeneres, Oprah Winfrey, and things like that. Her podcast is being called IMO, which is short for In My Opinion. Nobody cares about her opinion. I thought when I saw IMO, I thought it meant I'm Michael Obama, but I wasn't sure. I mean Michelle. Sorry, Freudian slip. I'm Michelle Obama. That's what I thought it meant, but that's probably what it really means. I think that's what IMO. Yeah, it'll be a double. I'm sure that's what it's about. They're very, very promoting in that way. If you want to read the story, go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. There's that and so much more. Oh, and I want to say this before we go to the BPS Traffic Center. I want to give a shout out to Margie, who I hope will friend me back on Facebook. So last Friday, I did the stupidest thing I read today, and it was about the Sicily coal-fired pizza place down in Middletown. And apparently they're being sued by these 2 publishing companies for 3 songs that were played in 3 months or 4 months because they did not have the rights or the copyright rights to play those songs. And Margie sent me a message because I talked about it on my Sunday show and says that bars and restaurants actually go into an agreement with places like ASCAP to make sure that their bands come on and perform and that they're not in violation of copyright. So I didn't know that. So I want to thank Margie for giving me the info on it. I never knew. And now I know. Should I ever open up a bar or restaurant? And if you were thinking about it too. Let's get a check of your weather with Jason Catarinas. But first, Mark Christopher has your traffic in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, buddy.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're on the westbound side of 84 coming into Hartford, delays approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue, 84 eastbound slowing, approaching 46 up to into the tunnel. Southbound 91, some slow traffic, 33 down to 32 A and B. Another sluggish area, Rocky Hill and the Cromwell between exit 23 and 22 in the Route 9 interchange. Northbound 91, easy ride, Cromwell up into Windsor. 291, 384 moving well. 2 eastbound's okay, Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 southbound's a little slow as you approach the Aragoni Bridge. If you're heading into Waterbury, westbound 84, some slow traffic from 23 into the Mixmaster. South 95, New Haven, slowing 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8 WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Clear and chilly tonight, the low down to 36. A beautiful day for Tuesday, partly sunny, breezy and warm. The high back to 66 for us. A little cooler through midweek Wednesday with the clouds and sun, the high of 51. Lots of clouds Thursday, the high down to 49. Then we start to rebound as we make our way toward the weekend. Friday, a mix of clouds and sunshine, the high up to 59 again. Right now, it's 56 in New London. It's 62 in Mansfield, 64 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Wisdom teeth giving you trouble? Columbia Dental's expert oral surgeons specialize in comfortable and efficient wisdom tooth removal. Open 7 days a week. Call 860-645-0111 or visit columbiadental.com.
For quality vinyl siding, the Peter L. Brown Company is your best choice. Let us show you the difference a beautifully installed Peter L. Brown vinyl siding job can make. Please visit peterlbrown.com for roofing, siding, windows, and doors.
O'Reilly Veriscan is a free check engine light testing program that pulls from over 600 million vehicle scans confirmed by ASC certified technicians to provide a simple report and possible fixes available exclusively at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
David was in big trouble with the IRS.
At first, I didn't owe that much, but after this year, it was out of control.
Then David called Get a Tax Lawyer.
Right away, they were like, oh yeah, looks like you're qualified to save.
Get a Tax Lawyer went to work.
Should have called way sooner.
Get a Tax Lawyer has helped thousands like David fight the IRS and get a fresh start.
Call 800-745-3070. That's 800-745-3070.
What if your limited inventory had unlimited potential? What if your biggest risk was not taking one? What if you could make every move matter? Bank of America's business solutions can help bring your biggest what-ifs within reach. Find out how our digital tools, cutting-edge insights, and trusted expertise can work for your business. What would you like the power to do? Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank sponsor of FIFA World Cup 2026.
Celebrate twice as much. PN's birthday deal. Get 72% off and a coupon for up to 1 year free. Visit NordVPN and discover the benefits. Secure up to 10 devices with a single account. Encrypt your online traffic. Reduce the risk of phishing, scams, and malware with NordVPN's Threat Protection Pro. Get the special birthday deal at nordvpn.com. Additional terms apply. NordVPN.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need.
Yeah, Tim.
Safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Reese on the Radio is getting ready to drop some knowledge on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Drop it.
Yeah, that's right. Reese on the Radio. Well, you can call it dropping knowledge if you want to. I'm actually just going to get to the phones. Let's take a couple of them here. Patty is in Naugatuck. Hello, Patty.
Hi, Reese. So nice to hear your show. I listened today, and I'm not always able to at this time, but you had a great show. And could I still comment on the tariffs? And I'd like to lay out my whole case, and I will listen quietly with no interruptions while you lay out your case, because I'm not sure mine's stronger than yours. But it's a nice comparison, because I'm not for the tariffs, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
First, I think President Trump is the most exceptional negotiator we have ever seen, maybe in the country's history.
Mm-hmm.
He can play hardball. He's firm. He does everything with great wisdom, and I respect all that. But I think on the tariffs, I have great reservations. I know he's looking to bring businesses back to the country, and then they go at a 15% rate. So he's making it very appealing to come here.
Right.
But right now, the people in the country, they were already hurting over the last 4 years terribly because of inflation and inflationary prices. Food is higher, the culling of all the birds that have happened. And I think the country is kind of wobbly right now. The consumer confidence is down. There's a lot of indicators that are not positive. I think if he waited I think it's about timing is what I'm actually trying to say. Because I think if he waited for the bill to pass and they institute all the decreased regulations, some of the lessening of taxes on people, and waited till after May, because maybe they could get the bill passed by then, it would be a better time for the country to be able to absorb it. I don't think the average family is going to be able to absorb it because everything is too high. And they've done so many millions and millions and millions of culling of animals that it has increased prices also. I made a list while I was on hold because I heard the other caller, and I wanted to back you up also on the Canada exports and that kind of thing. And we do export quite a bit back and forth. I have down that Canada, we're exporting $438 billion to the United States, and America exports $308 to Canada. So they're both very much up there. It's going to be expensive for the Canadians as well as the Americans. And they can't well afford it now either.
Well, their reliance on American imports is higher than ours for theirs, like Trump said about lumber and things like that. There are things that they, cars, we don't need those from them. We need more manufacturing here.
I have down petroleum, $117 billion for us. We import cars, $27 billion, petroleum, $22.4 billion, and refined, $15.5. Motor vehicle parts, $11.4 billion. But like you said, it's affecting both countries.
Right.
I just think the timing is off. I think also I have heard him say in the past he wants to get rid of the income tax, and he's also talked about tariffs not being at right now the levels they may be at. They may fluctuate, which is hard for investors because long-term investors want to have some certainty or better certainty about the product. But I think it's all about timing.
Let me tell you why.
Wrong.
No. Let me sort of respond to you. I don't want to say pushback because that's adversarial. Sure. Let me tell you what my point of view on this is, and I think it's Donald Trump's, and I think what's happening here is very, very interesting. And I'm kind of going to go a long way to get to a point. Sure. If there's one thing that I understand about foreign markets and foreign countries in this argument. What they've been able to do is to push back against the Trump administration. What's happening is that they know, it's like that old story, that 60-minute story about Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, where the guy in the Black Ops says that when he was waterboarding Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, and Khalid Sheikh Mohammed tells the guy who's waterboarding him that the American people are going to shun you. The American people are going to castigate you for doing what you did to me. Even though I'm the architect of 9/11, they're going to go on my side. They're going to be on my side about waterboarding. And sure enough, he was right. He was right because no matter what this guy Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was responsible for, people thought their moral, authority on the issue was, well, you can't do that to him, where the rest of us, some of us are just going, hell yeah, you could do that to him. Waterboard him to get Osama bin Laden? You're damn right. But he knew that the media was going to be on his side. Your American media will take my side, and it did. That's the same thing that's happening here. The posturing of these nations like Canada, they are being made to believe by the American news media, keep pushing back because it will make his followers, make his MAGA minions, they'll feel the pain and they'll turn on it. So both of them are happening in concert. So the media, presenting, sure, is there pain? Absolutely. But the pushback, the non-negotiation, if you will, with Donald Trump is because they want to weigh him out and see if the American pressure through the news media or arguments like we're having here on the air are going to make people side with people like Canada, with Europe, and say, Donald Trump, okay, enough's enough. We don't want to feel any more pain. And then he balks, if you will.
No,
that's what I think this whole thing is about.
But the media, you know what, Reese? I don't believe anything the media tells me. If the media prints tomorrow, water is wet, I would verify it first. I believe nothing of what they say. They have lied to us for 5 years. So to be honest with you, Reese, I listen to you when you talk. I believe everything you say because you work hard for your information. You study hard for your information, and you want to. And your heart and soul is in everything you do, including being married to your wife and this show. So that's the kind of person you are. But you know what? If you think the media, if the people are listening to the media, some of them are, but 60% are not.
Yeah, I know. And listen, I think this is one of those things where Trump's going to have to weigh it out. If it doesn't work in his favor, and sure enough, people are going to turn around and say, Mr. Trump.
I think today at 3 o'clock he was talking to Canada again. So it could still be a work in progress. But I think what we need to do is to have our representatives pass that great, big, beautiful bill.
Yeah.
So that all the goodies that are in there can lessen the recession for the people.
And then I can win. And Patty, then I could win if we get that big, beautiful bill passed, I can win my bet with Tim and Hamden.
And you know what? You can win your point that we can do tariffs better then, because people will be in a better financial position because we can get energy prices down, and we could also bring the prices of goods that we bring home to a lesser price because there'll be less to ship. There
Indeed.
would possibly be more of them. And the more companies we bring home, the better off we are because we're taking care of our country and we're taking care of fellow businessmen, and that's what we want to do.
Indeed,
But right
Patty.
now,
I'm gonna go. I
feel
got to
like
get some other people in here, Patty. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I got to move on. Thank you, my dear. Let's go to the aforementioned Tim in Hampton, who is dying to come in and opine on this subject. I'm assuming. Tim, how are you?
Not really. I called about the infield issue, but I have the TV on in the background, and they've already announced higher electric rates for Connecticut because we get so much, power from Canada and everything. So already, this is not, North Dakota. This is not, Texas or anyplace else. Higher electric rates, folks, because of Trump's misguided tariff war that even the Wall Street Journal, says is a terrible idea.
Look at
but
that.
I called about
He did it. He did it. He actually cited a conservative outlet to make his point. Look, Tim believes in Republican talking points.
Well, I believe in so many of the business.
All right. Don't bore me with the details. Anyway, what was the reason why you did call, sir?
Well, the Enfield. The Enfield, the mayor with the strangely Southern accent. I don't know where he got that accent, but this is an effort that's been going on for a while. A while back they hung a rainbow flag up at the city hall, and people got their little panties in a bind.
Okay.
Everybody went crazy and stuff. Oh, we're not going to have any flags. Blah blah blah, all that sort of stuff. Well, first off, if you got, I'd like to know what the other two flags were that were taken down. And stuff.
So you don't think that the Black Lives Matter flag is offensive to?
It's like he got.
It's a yes or no question, Tim. Do you not think that the Black Lives Matter flag is offensive to people?
But
how about a simple yes or no? Can it be? Can the Black Lives Matter flag be offensive to people? Can it be offensive to people? Any flag can be offensive to anyone.
It's a great teaching opportunity.
No. If you're avoiding answering the question, then the answer is yes, because it is. Anything can be offensive to anyone. And so what we're saying here is Tim, let me finish. Tim, let me finish. Anything,
and you don't want to hear it.
Anything that's offensive can be offensive to anyone. And my point is that using the term offensive can actually be applied to anyone. So Black Lives Matter, hey, Christian lives matter can be offensive.
To teach. If the cop
teach what?
The cop is offended by
teach what? Teach what?
Bring them in and have a discussion.
Teach what?
With the school.
Here's what I want the school to teach. I don't want them to teach.
I don't know. During Black History Month, they put up a.
Actually, I don't want them teaching Black History Month either. Let me explain to you. Let me finish it.
I know, because you're only a white.
No. Why don't you let me finish, Tim?
Okay.
I'll say it.
Yeah.
What I want is reading, writing, and arithmetic. They don't do final test scores based upon how many black people you know or how much black history you do. There are no final exams. Tim, please don't interrupt me. I'm going to finish my point. They do not do a final exam on how many black history teachers you know or how many black history folks you know. They do a final exam on math. They do a final exam on reading. They do a final exam on science. They do final exams on things that are going to get you a well-meaning and a high-paying or considerable-paying job in this country. That's what the classroom is for. I don't need to know. I'm not done, sir.
Tell me when I can speak.
I'm not done. When I'm done is when you can speak. I don't have to tell you when I'm done.
You're only here to 6. Okay.
Now, when you hear that somebody is learning about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., I don't understand how that helps him in any way open up a business, okay? Unless you're going to do a story on Booker T. Washington, that would probably be helpful on people opening up a business. That would be helpful. Or maybe George Washington Carver on how he actually did stupendous things with the peanut. Or maybe Charles Drew in medicine. Those things are important, but they don't teach that in class. Instead, I've got to hear about the 1619 Project that does nothing for any child in class, be they black, white, or other.
Maybe they could teach how Martin Luther King was picked tobacco up in that area. But I'm talking about the fact, during the summers and did all that sort of stuff. But let's have a sterile little world. Let's not talk about culture.
I don't want it to be sterile. I just want kids to learn in
school. You don't want to hear people about. Let me finish. So if you're not going to let black people, gay people, or others have their say, they're going to feel oppressed and everything else. Bring in the teacher. Have a debate. Bring in the gay rights people. Have a debate for a day or two. You don't have to do that 24 hours a day.
Let me explain this to you. And it is as plain as it gets. It's a real simple solution to all of this, okay? If you want your kid to learn Black history, grab a Black history book and read it to them at home. If you want your child to learn about LGBTQ history, grab an LGBTQ book and read the book to them at home. If you want them to learn about anything that is outside of reading, writing, and arithmetic, you can do that at home. But see, here's the problem, is that they don't want to do it at home because either they don't have the time or they don't have any real interest in those things. And it's usually the people who are protesting this nonsense who either don't have kids in these classrooms or they're just a bunch of rabble-rousers. They can't and they won't ever put any skin in the game, so they force everybody to do their bidding. That's the problem. It's real simple. You see, I had the Britannica encyclopedia in my house because a man walked to my door and said, you should buy these for your kids. And my mother could barely afford it, but she still got it. And I learned whatever it was that was in those books because my mother provided them for me. Because the education is not just in the classroom. And I don't need social engineering inside schools. I need kids to go to school so they can learn how to read. I need kids in school so they can learn some math. I need kids in school so they can learn home economics, shop, or whatever it is that those kids can have an active and productive life. I don't need them to know about who's gay, who's black, who's straight, who's short, who's tall, who's transgendered. None of that stuff applies. When you start looking at yourself as ranked 40th in the world in education, when you have more people talking about what's going on in the bathroom instead of what's going on in the classroom, that's why you get those things. That's the reason why kids are failing. Because there's too much stupid focus on flags instead of results. So I don't want anybody in the school teaching my kids about anything if my kids are in school. I want them teaching them what they're supposed to teach them. So when my kid gets out and I go, hey, can you read an analog clock? Yes, they can. Hey, do you know what 2 + 2 is? Yes, Dad, it's 4. That is what I want. I don't want to know, hey, who's Harvey Milk? Get that nonsense out of the classroom. Okay? It's that simple. Now, let's get a check of traffic and weather. Jason Catarinas has got your weather, and of course, Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're westbound 84, got delays. East Hartford approaching the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound, some slow traffic. About a half mile before 46 Avenue, up to 48 Capitol Avenue. South of 91, brief slowdown to 33 Jennings Road. You'll see a little sluggish area, Rocky Hill and Cromwell between exit 23 and 22, and then some sluggish traffic again from 20 in Middletown Country Club Road down to 17 for the Wilbercross Parkway. Northbound 91 moving well, Cromwell up into Windsor, 291 through 84 okay east of the river, 2 eastbound moving well, Glastonbury and East Hartford. Middletown looks good. Westbound 84 Waterbury, some slow traffic 22 to the Mixmaster, 95 southbound delays 46 down to 43 in West Haven. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
A mostly sunny and mild Monday afternoon to kick off the new week. The high moving up to 59 today. Clear and chilly tonight. The low dipping down to 33. We've got a pretty pleasant stretch of weather as we make our way through much of the week. It'll be much milder on Tuesday. Partly sunny and breezy. The high up to 65. Then Wednesday, the only cooler day, but listen, it's still going to be mild with a mix of clouds and sun. The high dialed back to 51. Now Thursday, lots of clouds, a little cooler still, the high down to 49. Friday, we begin to warm back up, making our way into the weekend. A mix of clouds and sunshine, the high moving up to 59 on Friday. Now Saturday, mostly cloudy but warmer, the high jumping up to 61 for the day. Then Saturday night, it'll be mild with some low clouds, the low dipping down to 53. I'm meteorologist Jason Catarina in the WTIC Weather Center.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080. Don't miss out on important updates in Connecticut. From breaking need-to-know news, weather alerts, and more. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app now. And now, a WTIC News Update.
64 degrees at 5:30. I'm Dave Mager, WTIC 1080 News. Tonight, low in the mid-30s, high in the mid-60s, and windy tomorrow. Analysts say President Trump's tariffs are contributing to market instability, which Wall Street doesn't like. Today, the Dow was down 890, S&P off 156, the NASDAQ fell 4%, or 728 points, its third worst day ever.
There's a cloud of uncertainty hanging over investors. It starts in the biggest sense with the overall economy. With on-again, off-again tariffs, a slowdown in consumer, business, and government spending, and the idea that the president did not rule out a recession when asked point blank, there are fears that the U.S. economy could be facing its first recession since 2020.
CBS's Jill Schlesinger. China now imposing tariffs on many U.S. farm products in response to the Trump tariffs. This could hurt demand for American pork, among other things. Glenn Mueller is with the South Dakota Pork Producers Council.
We need to maintain an open trading market to move the product that we have here, that we can produce the safest, best product in the world.
In other news, the state inspector general says 21-year-old William Bowen was live on Instagram showing off his guns in the streets of Hartford before he was shot and killed by police last Thursday. Body cam video of the incident has been released. Police tracked Bowen to the area of Magnolia Street. 2 officers saw him with a gun and opened fire. Bowen was running when Detective Joseph Walsh told him to drop the gun. Walsh then fatally shot the suspect. The inspector general will determine if the shooting was justified. As Ukraine gets pounded by Russian airstrikes, there will be talks tomorrow in Saudi Arabia about ways to end the war. President Volodymyr Zelensky is there. Former U.S. Ambassador Stephen Sestanovic says Ukraine will be seeking a security guarantee.
President Zelensky has said he understands NATO membership is not for now, not for the foreseeable future, but he wants to know what other kinds of security guarantees the United States would offer so that Ukraine does not have to worry about a resumption of attacks.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio is representing the U.S. 2 senior Ukrainian officials now say their delegation will propose a ceasefire with Russia covering the Black Sea and long-range missile strikes. Sports, third-ranked UConn plays Creighton for the Big East Women's Championship tonight. That's at Mohegan Sun. NBA, the Celtics host Utah, the Knicks at Sacramento. For more, check out WTIC.com. I'm Dave Maker, WTIC 1080 News.
Men, this is Dale for Northeast Men's Health. The one you love is the light of your life. And if you're like most of us, you want to do whatever you can to nurture your relationship. But if you're suffering with erectile dysfunction, you know the impacts the condition is likely having on you and on your partner. ED is a relationship destroyer. It can contribute to depression, distancing, conflicts, even breakups and divorce. And what's so disturbing about this is that most men who suffer with ED can be successfully treated, but a lot of guys don't seek treatment when they should. At Northeast Men's Health, we have protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases. In fact, if you're like most guys, you could be having great sex within a day or 2 of your first appointment, and maybe find you're performing like you haven't in a long time. So call Northeast Men's Health today. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956 or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices in the Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-68, 800-700-6898, or biglou.com.
Hey, this is Governor Ned Lamont. I'm giving a salute to the broadcaster at 100. Happy birthday, WTIC News, Talk 1080.
What? It's News Talk, not News Talk. Whatever. It's Reese on the Radio. We're back. You know what? I got so many people.
I knew you was going to love that one.
Oh, you knew I was going to. As soon as they start making them do drops for day parts, like, they used to do in the hip hop days, it was like, hey, this is Jay-Z. I'm listening to Reese on the Radio. Like, when they start doing that, oh, forget about it. I can't wait. By the way, don't forget, I've got coming up, I got to talk about it in the next break. The Hartford Courant quoted me without quoting me. We'll talk about that in a minute. Let's take Pete from Northford real quick. How we doing, sir?
Hey, I'm doing well, Reese. Look, 2 consecutive negative GDP quarters, right? Used to be the definition of a recession.
That's right. Did we get that changed under the Biden administration?
Yeah, they didn't take too much time changing that definition, did they?
Wikipedia got caught stone cold busted doing it on their site, changing the definition of it.
Unbelievable. Look, I got to get off the floor here. I'm in the fetal position clutching my pearls about these tariffs. So, if you're a big fan, I don't know if you ever watched Yellowstone or not.
Of course.
But there's a great Yellowstone.
Yeah, I love that show.
Yeah, okay, great. So there's a line in there, Beth goes out, she's going to take on some business enemy, and Rip goes to her, Beth, there's, they poked the wrong bear, and she goes, well, I am the bigger bear.
Yeah.
We're the bigger bear here, okay? So let's not get excited about Canada, for crying out loud, all right? Trump is doing what we needed to do, and he's ripping the Band-Aid off, okay? We're not playing around. It's going to hurt a little bit. It's going to be raw for a while. But if anybody thought that this leviathan of negativity that was all brought on by, Joe Biden and his administration, if anybody thought that this was going to be turned around in a matter of weeks, you're not a serious person.
Yeah,
okay?
That's the biggest problem here, is that people thought, and it's funny because they told us to wait it out. He'll get his feet under him, under the Biden administration. He'll turn it all around. And it only got worse, and it progressed. And maybe it got progressively better, but not fully. It just got worse and worse and worse on other fields as other parts got better. And now people are asking for this turnaround of the Trump administration. No, turn it around day one. That was never going to be the case.
Nah, yeah. It's like, was it magic beans, magic dust, fairy dust? What did they expect was going to happen here? So let's relax, let's support and play the plan. Okay, which is it's going to hurt. I mean, we're going to get some short-term pain, long-term gain, which we've heard that over and over again.
Yeah.
But it's going to, it's going to turn around. We're going to come better. I don't know how much time I have, but we've got to look at spending, right? We got to look at government spending. That is the key here. And if we can start getting a foothold onto that, and start cutting that back, especially now if we get this big, beautiful bill, cut back on the spending, you're going to see relief. But it's not going to come in 24, 48 hours.
Exactly. That's what we're hoping for.
Be patient.
Thank you, Pete. Much appreciated, man. Thank you. And you got it in under time. Let's get our weather from Jason Catarina, but first, let's get your roads and traffic from Mark Christopher's in the BPS Traffic Center. Hey, Mark, did you see the graphics that I put up on ReeseOnTheRadio.com?
I will check them out after this report.
It's actually you and Jason Catarina and showing some traffic. Yeah. Go see it. It's really cool.
Wait a minute. I'm up on a marquee. Is
you're on the marquee. It says Mark Christopher. And I've even got a little shark on there, too. Go check it out. It's really cool.
I love it. I will. That's great. I'm on a marquee. This is good stuff. Hey, if you're heading 91 northbound into downtown Hartford, there is an accident just prior to exit 29. Looks like the left lane's blocked there, so a little bit of traffic building behind that. Southbound 91's a little slowdown moving by 33 Jennings Road. Westbound 84 slows from the Bulkley Bridge out to 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound, just losing a little speed as you move up on 48 Capitol Avenue. 291, 384 okay east of the river. 2 eastbound moving well Glastonbury to Marlboro. Quiet Middletown. 91 southbound delays approaching 19 down to 17 in Meriden. Westbound 84 at Waterbury slowing approaching the mixed master. If you're traveling 84 eastbound in Danbury, some slow traffic out by exit 5. Again, some slow traffic 84 eastbound 10 to 11 in Newtown. 95 southbound New Haven is tight from 46 down to 43. In West Haven, Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Well, it's a beautiful Monday evening. Temperatures still in the low and mid 60s across the entire area. And with daylight savings starting this past weekend, at least you get a chance to get out and enjoy some of the milder temps when you get home from work. Clear tonight, the low down to 36. Another beautiful day Tuesday, partly sunny, breezy, warm, the high 66 for us. Then Wednesday, cooler as we head through midweek, the high down to 51 with a mix of clouds and sun. Lots of clouds Thursday, the high 49. Then we start to rebound as we head toward the end of the week Friday. Clouds and sun, the high back up to 59. Right now it's 61 in New Haven. Bridgeport also 61, so is Waterbury. Danbury at 64. It's also 64 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina in the WTIC Weather Center.
Join us this Sunday for Tumulo Financial, your go-to for retirement planning and taxes. Tune in to the father and son duo from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. or catch the replay from 5 to 6 p.m. Tumulo Financial Retirement Planning with Integrity on WTIC News Talk 1080. It's Power Torque Tools DIY Days at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Save $20 on a Power Torque 248-piece mechanics tool set. Power Torque professional hand tools have a lifetime guarantee, available only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
We have something to buzz about. Call the Bee. Connecticut trusted HVAC plumbing and drain professionals now offer electrical service. Call the Bee is ready to keep your home powered up. Visit callthebee.com. That's callthelletterb.com to schedule a speedy electrical service today.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever for a single line. Just $45 per month when you bring your phone, which is less than you spend on Too Tired to Cook takeout every week. Get one line on unlimited welcome for $45 per month with autopay plus taxes and fees. Visit your local Hartford Verizon store by April 2nd to save. $20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply.
If your air conditioner and furnace are over 10 years old, they've pretty much gone to the dogs. But at Ayala Home Services, we can fetch you a free furnace with our 2-for deal. For a limited time, when you purchase a new air conditioning system, you receive a free furnace. We also offer free, no-obligation estimates for these new systems. Call, click, or text and say hello, ALO. Call for details. Licensed for safety. P102776688, D1040145, D1185643, S3308699, HIC 628926, SM3004646, HOD 635, HOD 223.
We all hear the radio ads about stress. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is.
You know who it is.
You know who it is. It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
And we're about to wrap this up. The last but not least caller of the day is coming up soon. Who will it be? Who will it be? But they will win a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe, located in South Windsor, Vernon, and Manchester. And hopefully there will be a Reese on the Radio peanut butter and jelly sandwich on the menu. Just one place. Just one place. Preferably, I will say this, if it's in one place, can it be in Manchester? Just because it was the first place that I lived in Connecticut, and I think that would be that would be kind of like, that for me, that would be cool. That was the first place I lived in Connecticut. And I just remembered, I feel horrible what's happening at the Buckland Hills Mall because I know it's being sold and it's kind of being gutted and all that other stuff. But the Red Robin across the street, I spent plenty of lunches there, watching the playoffs, the baseball playoffs against the Yankees. in 2004 at the Red Robin, not the Red Robin, sorry, the TGI Fridays down the block. I just remember just so many fond memories of Manchester in 2004. So if it's anywhere, if you only pick one store, let it be at the one in Manchester. Unless you can do all three. Unless you can do all three. Let's get back to the phones. 860-522-WTIC. Simsbury Joe is on the line. What's up, buddy?
Hi there. I'd like to talk about tariffs. First of all, since Tim was rude, I have to ask a question because I always wonder how he talks like that. Is that taking cotton balls and putting it up his nostrils, or is it an excess of sinus fat?
Oh, yeah. Somebody had mentioned in the chat room that he sounded like Kermit the Frog, but I thought about that. I'm like, I don't think he sounds that much like him unless Kermit the Frog would say something like, we need to get more transgender people working inside it. He doesn't sound like that.
Well, I would not bring that up if he wasn't rude. I would not put him down if he didn't have incredible rudeness. But so I've got to talk about the tariffs. So it was either Friday or Saturday's Hartford Current.
Yeah.
And I know very few people get it now, and I understand why. I do still get it.
Mm-hmm.
But there was an article that talked all about China announcing tariffs of up to 100% on canola, pork, and other foods from Canada. And why did they do that? They did it in retaliation for Canada back in August, before Donald Trump became president, putting big tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles, steel, and aluminum.
Yep.
So all these people saying, oh, the tariffs, oh, Canada, why are we doing it? That had nothing to do with Donald Trump. And Canada did it first to China. Now China's doing it back. And that's just the way that the world works. I'm not a tariff expert. I can't tell you, my fingers are crossed that this will all work out well. But there's another reason that, and I discussed this on Tom's show the other day, and I know that there's a different audience, people driving right now.
Sure.
But whenever Donald Trump mentions fentanyl in Canada and the tariffs,
yeah,
it was their version of C-SPAN last week, where the Royal Canadian Mounted Police were talking about fentanyl issues in Canada.
Yeah.
And you hear people here saying, oh, it's only 1%, blah, blah, blah.
I think it was the big to-do was that they'd only found like 43 pounds, something like that.
Yeah, enough to kill 250,000 Americans
exactly.
in one try.
Yeah.
But the question was asked, and the answer was given about how many different drug gangs selling fentanyl have they identified in Canada? Meaning, they were very specific about it, meaning there's a leader, there's workers, it's complete organizations.
Right.
And you know something? As Canada, Trudeau was saying, oh, it's not a big issue, 4,000.
Wow.
These are transnational Asian gangs that have set up shop in Canada with the help of the Canadian Liberal government and other people, including TD Bank, that got fined many billions of dollars for playing the game. So when Donald Trump starts mentioning tariffs and Canada wines and the Canadian people wine, this information that I just gave, we had to give this to people we know in Canada because they weren't getting it.
Right. They had no clue.
Shocked.
They had no clue. Exactly right. And because it's state-run as it is, and keeping the public out of the loop, giving them the impression, no, there's not a big problem going on here. And nor, listen, if they saw the problem, I mean, they'd have to be forced to watch it in order for them to believe it. But, that's where we are. I'm glad you brought up that China-Canada connection, because that is, again, no one's paying attention to, they treat this tariff thing like it's everybody else versus the United States. Is the way in which they look at this tariff thing. They don't think that goods are sold from other countries to each other. And there's a lot of shenanigans going on. It's like they completely ignored that. So,
yeah. And I'm not happy with the condition of the stock market at all. That was the only thing that I agreed with what Chris said.
Yeah.
But it's got to come back, but we can't continue the way things have gone.
No, indeed.
We just can't. It's got to get fixed.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. As always, man, I totally appreciate you. Let's go to Adam, who's in East Hartford. How we doing, sir?
Hey, Reese, good afternoon and happy Monday to you.
Happy Monday to you, sir.
Hey, you were right about talking about the Black Lives Matter movement, because if they really cared about the Black lives, they care about the 500 black youth that killed on the streets of Detroit and Chicago every year by black on black crime, right?
But you know what? And you know why they don't? There's no money in it. There's no the three things that matter to these civil rights groups, NAACP is included as well. The things that matter the most to them are the three things. There's three pillars in the civil rights movements or these activist groups. It's whether or not they can gain political ground, financial ground, or moral ground. They need the high ground on all of those fronts in order for it to be important to them. So when they see this kind of violence going on there, they have no enemy that they can point out. And I'll give you another perfect example of this, Adam. Bill Cosby, even though it's Bill Cosby, it's still an important story. And say what you want, Bill Cosby is a wretched old man, you know, who did horrible things. But a perfect example, before any of that scandal went out, at the anniversary of the NAACP's, you know, their usual anniversary every year, in 2004, I remember it vividly, he gave a speech where he was talking about inside the black community listening to rap music, talking like the you is and I is. He gave that speech. And guys like Michael Eric Dyson and what's his name, Torre, called him paternalistic and said he was airing black America's dirty laundry. And they destroyed him because of it, notwithstanding his other allegations. But they went after him because he dared bring up the fact that that was going on in the black community. That's the reason why these activist groups don't care that kids are sleeping inside bathtubs or doing their homework on the floor or sleeping on the floor, for that matter, so they don't get hit by a stray bullet, because there's no moral, no financial, and no political gains in talking about that in the inner city. And that's just where we are. So thank you, Adam. I appreciate you. Let's go to Tom in Thomaston. How about you, Tom?
Hey, I'm very well. Hey, Reese, that was a little mean of you with Chris.
Why?
You know, he's on a liberal rant, and then you hit him with true facts. You know you can't give a liberal true facts. It just sends them.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Is Chris a liberal? Is he a liberal? I didn't get the impression. I thought he was an independent guy.
Oh, well, I don't know. Wasn't he the one that was going off on the Canadian
yeah, I know.
tariffs?
Yeah. I know. I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I don't know why. Right now, you know what? Listen, Tom, when you call people a liberal today, oh my God, you would think you called them a racist. They treat it like it's a plague.
You sent him over the edge when you showed them. He probably who's that little 4'8" liberal economist guy, Rich?
Oh my goodness. I know exactly. Goodness gracious. What is his name?
Robert Reich.
Robert Reich. I think that it's something like that. But
I always think of the Third Reich when I hear his name.
He's always he's the economist from the New York Times, Pulitzer Prize winning, I might add.
Yeah.
Who can't stop talking about every year he's talking about what the stock market's going to be like under each president, and he gets it wrong every time.
Yeah, it's always down and a recession coming when it's a conservative.
Yes.
Chris probably listens to him, so he didn't know the true facts about the disparage with the tariffs.
Yeah, and you know what? Again, like I said, this tariff thing. Look, as much as people are upset about it, I say this all the time. You got to stop listening to the news media, because it will influence you to believe something that isn't true, because it's the psyop of all psyops. If you hear everybody in the news media saying the same thing, it has a tendency to sway you. You got to step out of that realm. This is the reason why when I look at them objectively in the sense of what are they saying and why are they saying it, and are they repeating the same thing? Then I know it's a psyop, especially if they can't stop using the same words.
We got to get the trade deficit down, because that's like a tax to us.
Indeed.
Liberals won't say it, but if the tariffs are the way to do it, so be it.
Yeah.
But those numbers have got to come down.
Indeed. You're right. And the spending's got to come as well. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate you, sir. Let's see. We got a couple of interesting ones here, and I have got to grab the next one that's up, and it is going to be our last but not least caller of the day, because they've been holding the longest. Dylan is in Newington. Hello, Dylan. You are our last but not least caller of the day, and you win a dozen bagels a month for 6 months, courtesy of Between Rounds, the Bagel Bakery and Sandwich Cafe, in South Windsor, Manchester, and in Vernon. Hopefully, they'll have my sandwich in Manchester. How are you, Dylan? Dylan? Wow, Dylan fell asleep. Our last but not least caller is Lynn from West Suffield. Hello, Lynn. How are you? That can happen in a minute. That could happen in a minute. Look at that. Somebody fell asleep on the phone.
I guess so. I wanted to know what your email is so I can send you the list of the tariffs that Canada has been putting on us for, like, milk, 270%, and cheese, 246%, and butter, 298%. I have a whole list of the
Send it.
tariffs.
Go to reeseontheradio.com. That's REESE on the radio.com. Send it right there. Any one of those places, it'll tell you where you can send a message. Just send it to me. I'll get it immediately. It goes right to my phone.
Reese on the radio. Okay.
Yeah,
REESE
on the radio. No, yeah, just trust me. Try it again. There's a link there that you can send it to, and I'll get it. Yes, go ahead.
I also want to let you know that Mayor Kenneth Nelson is my stepson.
I'm sorry, whom?
Mayor Kenneth Nelson.
Is he really? Is he? You said your stepson?
Yes.
Oh, okay, great. How do you think he's doing a great job fighting back on that Black Lives Matter thing? By the way, that's the reason why they called me, because I'm really, really proud of him. I'm glad he's standing up for them.
Remember, I'm the VP.
Okay, no doubt. I appreciate you.
Just information about Murphy.
Yes, that's right. Oh, that's right. That's right. Thank you. I appreciate you. All right, stay on the hold. We're gonna get rolling to get all your information for the Between Rounds bagel giveaway. Again, that is 1 month. I'm sorry, it's a dozen bagels a month for 6 months from Between Rounds. Anyway, we got to get up out of here, and I'm sorry that the show has to end this way, but it's been a Monday. It's an interesting Monday. Mondays could be better, but I'm just happy that we're here. We got another 4 days to do this. I'm excited every day we come in on a Monday. Roland's not so happy. By the way, I said I would tease. I teased it, so let me get it out. So the Hartford Courant has an article, and the headline of the article, you can check it out yourself. Connecticut senators leading national resistance against Trump. We've got to flood the zone, it says. And down in a couple of paragraphs, in fact, I think it's the Republican pushback paragraph, there's this one quote. Here's the full quote. Murphy may be making the rounds on YouTube and political podcast shows reach much younger viewers, which is smart, but he's hawking the same old Joe Biden-Harris platform that cost Democrats dearly in 2024. We are the actual populace, and we're going to protect you from fascists and save American democracy. Locally, a conservative radio host referred to Murphy as a Dukakis Democrat. That was me. I referred to him as a Dukakis Democrat when I said that Murphy would allow a burglar to come into your home and he'd make the family go outside and wait while he rummaged through your things. But they didn't give me credit for it. They said locally, a conservative radio host referred to Murphy as a Dukakis Democrat. What the hell? Just put my name there. Anyway, as I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your mind. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. Jason Catarinas has got your weather, but Mark Christopher is going to get you home in the BPS Traffic Center. Good night, Mark. See you tomorrow.
Hey, Reese, thank you. You two have a great night. And this traffic report being brought to you by Tab Computer Systems, a 100% employee-owned company. If you're making your way...
All right, sir. 4 more days.
Just a little slow as you move between exit 47 and 45 Flatbush Avenue. No problems. Vernon 91 North.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Open now.
Yes, sir. Enjoy your night.
You too. All right. Folks, thank you so much. This show today was in disarray. I didn't like this Monday. I don't know. It's just weird to me. I felt weird, probably because, I don't know. I'm not under the weather or anything. It just felt weird. All right, well, it's good to be back nonetheless. I love you guys. Thank you for everything, and we'll see you tomorrow. All right, be good to each other.